everybody. Dadman Walking Fit 5 coming to you live on the East Coast 2 after 9. We got a lot to talk about in the world of college football. A few decent games last week, a couple good games coming up this week, and, well, really a lot of news that's out there. So joining me once again on a Tuesday night is the great JT Kirk. Captain, how are you tonight? Or Admiral? Which one do you want to be?
Either one will work. Work. I'm doing all right. I feel tired enough. Maybe I'm a captain tonight.
There you go. As long as you're not, I guess if you were Tennille's captain, then you would be a lot richer. And you're a musician. You're a musician anyway. So.
Oh yeah. You know all the money you make off of that, right?
Makes more than what we make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
geez.
It's all good, man. How was your weekend? How have you been doing? So.
Oh, pretty hectic, doing a lot of stuff around the house and car stuff and family stuff. It's just a busy time of year. September is like the busiest month of my year, I think even more so than December. So just glad it's kind of coming to a close, honestly. But I did have some time to catch some football over the weekend. So
yeah, you probably caught a little bit more than I did. Unfortunately, I attached my horse one more damn time to the Florida Gators again. So we'll definitely.
Yes, I knew you would.
So, well, I didn't want to watch it, but when I was sitting there with Mom and stuff, I figured, well, why the hell not? And it just sit there and just. Well, we will get into that as we will everything, especially with your Michigan State Spartans. And one of the wonderful things that we knew was coming with this big, massive coast-to-coast Big Ten conference.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, let's say hello to the people we've got out there. We got some people returning people too. We've got Snorta Poopus said, hello, humans and other critters, but then he waddled off for a nap. Hey, I took a 30-minute nap just before this show. JT almost had to call out the army to send people to wake me up.
Yeah.
Well, I just had to. I heard the alarm. I'm like, that's an alarm. Oh, damn it. But anyway, it's cool. Legatus, how are you, Legatus? Good to see you tonight. We're back on college football. This is the time of year. And we're already through 4 weeks. Can you believe it? A third of the season is already gone, and some people, like the Florida Gators, might as well kiss their butt goodbye for the season. And others, there's still hope.
Oh,
yeah. So we got the great JT Kirk here with us too, and Deeple 101. Good to see you tonight, Deeple. I'm definitely a Big Ten fan, the Ohio State University, I believe. So
okay. Well, we'll forgive you.
No, he's got every right to talk because they are legitimate. They are legitimate. Everybody wants to beat them till they can beat them, but hey, good to see you tonight, Deeple. Let's see, Fallout Dave. Hey, while Fallout Dave and I will sit here and commiserate and whine and complain about what's happening in Gainesville, Florida. Yes, they did. They sure did. Let's see. Let's take a look. Rip the Gators. Yep. Hey, Jess, how are you doing tonight? I think Aang led my door sort of cracked. Hold on, give me a second because Mrs. is still streaming. They're watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch right now. But we've got 8 people here. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We're trying to get to 750 subscribers. Bring your friends in because at 750 we will do another celebration. So, but good to see you tonight, Jess. Hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah. Well, I end up using all that the money that I end up to get games to watch other teams. If our friend Sam pops up, I've actually watched I've actually used it to watch some game. JT, you might have to do that sometime for Michigan State if they're ever on a network ESPN covers. Because I actually have done that with Sam and her a few times with her family is watch a BYU game here and there. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, the best opponent of all. Noble opponent, right? The almighty by.
Yeah. You used to be able to catch these games pretty well in your local market. So Michigan would always get like the noon game on ABC unless, they were like top 5 or something national. They might get thrown to ESPN. But, you knew you were getting them on one of the Disney properties. Then you had NBC was always Notre Dame. and then CBS, you would find, a national game after that.
That reminds me, our friend Chewy out there just responded to my tweet. So let me take the emote only off on the Twitch side. See, I always forget something. So now you can comment on the Twitch side here. Hello, so that's the one thing on the Twitch side. It's it's open all the time on the channel. People can go in and chat on it all the time. So you have to watch your chat. Whereas on YouTube, you only chat when you're live or like that. But on Twitch, you got to turn it off. Otherwise, people could go in there and chat on your channel all the time. And you're like, there was nothing here. But hey, so anyway, see, I just said hello to myself. So, yep. Deeple put it. I will say Deeple's honest with an Iowa State fan. They played Texas and had 2 televised practices in a bye. Yeah,
in my mind, you shouldn't be ranked number 1 with that. Well, and I'm not saying that they're bad by any means. I'm just saying,
put that in perspective, though.
That makes no sense.
But put it in perspective, though, because you don't like an early season poll, though, because I mean they're number 1 because, well, they did beat Texas, and they started really high in this poll. When would you prefer to see the first poll of the season?
Week 5 this week.
Yeah.
This week. But yeah, Deeple, you're right. Polls don't matter. I'm just saying, it's not just Ohio State. I mean, you look at their record and 2 cupcakes and a bye. No, I don't really think that means you're the number 1 in the country. I think Oregon has played a much harder schedule they've had some powder puff too. But you had Notre Dame lose the first 2 games and take a week off, and yet they were still ranked 24th in the nation going in, and BYU was not ranked at all. Come on.
No, and I'm just saying, I will say you've always been consistent with that. You always have been. Oh, Mr. Niblick, hello.
Yeah,
that's the name. I've not seen that name in a while.
He's
sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's trying to get me to be like 45/47.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Deeple, yes, first poll can be first week of November. I think you said something to that effect too, JT. Have it later in the season. So, yeah. Yep. I mean, y'all common ground with that. And, hey, Chewy's here now. Like I said, I got the comments open up on the Twitch side. Glad he could be here in the chat. Interesting week 4 in the books. In college football, yes, today the SEC announced the permanent rivalries along for each team going to a 9-team schedule. We're going to cover that a little bit later. I know the ACC has also announced the plans to going to a 9-game schedule. The reason why for the push for this 9-game schedule has been the Big Ten has been opposed to the 16-team format for college playoffs. But one thing that they insisted, if that happened, everybody would have to play 9 conference games in their conferences. And it looks like the ACC and the SEC are now following along. So let's see what happens. I hope that don't instigate. Yes, exactly. The one poll I do like, talking and sucking, I like the bottom 10. There used to be something, and I think it's still around. Let's start with something different tonight.
Okay.
Before we go to recaps and stuff, let me see if I can find, because I do believe that they still have what's called the bottom 10. And let's just for grins. I mean, let's change it up a little bit tonight and have some conversation. So, it may be. But I tell you what, Florida got screwed on that this year. Florida plays Tennessee before FSU this year. So,
but if your name's Alabama, anything's possible.
You and your hatred for Alabama, man. You just. All right. Well, here we go.
Like it's ever going to change. So, they just be expecting it every week.
Shoot, this is. Okay, come on, guys. Why do y'all put week 2? There is a bottom 10, of course, according to ESPN. You could hear the missus still down there, so it's crazy. So let's see. Man, so folks, you will be hearing her quite a bit. That's just the small house. Let me see. Let's see. Let me try this. Let me see if I can fine tune the search. Because, it's actually been something. I remember in the 80s seeing it. And, ESPN, let's see. Let's see, trying to get them.
Well,
Well, yeah, but hey, well, let's go. Let's see. We'll get the.
I have the week 3 bottom 10. If you'd like the week 3 bottom 10.
Oh, let's. Oh, yeah. Let's do that, JT. Why don't you share it and reveal? We'll reveal it from your screen. How'd
Okay.
that work?
Sure. Let's see here. So
Mm.
this is what week old.
Small town republic. Speaking like a good Auburn fan, can we put the SEC refs in the bottom 10? That sounds like they got punished. They're going to get punished. They may have to do Florida Gator games for the rest of the season. So good to see you, Small Town Republic. Talk about a team that got hosed. We will talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah, A for always whining. All right, you ready, JT? All right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm going to start Chewy's comment. Let's go ahead and look. Let's see in the bottom 10. Let's see. Is that who I think it is?
It is right there in the center of the page.
Florida. Can you read that then?
Yes. Would you like me to biggin it?
Just biggin it and read it.
There we go.
I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that.
Coming in at number 10, Florida.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and they only lost the next week to make that even worse.
Well, see, the thing is, like I say, look at Florida's schedule. It's scary, but you know what? Dude, I don't care down the road. I mean, clap, shift has hit a new low with this. There people that have defended this clown Napier are like, they're mocking it in open derision with that offense. No spread formations. Everybody within 10 yards of each other. The defense is jammed up on them, same offense, same thing every week, just boring. I mean, 3 yards in the cloud at us is not even. But I mean, it's so bad that people say run the ball with your best player now, and he's going to leave. And one of the complaints with Napier had been like Trevor Etienne left a couple years ago, went to Georgia. Why? Because he was splitting time. Playmakers want to play. They don't want fair time for everybody to play. They want to play. They want to be on the field. And for whatever reason, he takes his best players out except for his quarterback. And anyway, we supposedly had all these great wide receivers coming in, and they're running 2 tight ends all the friggin' time. Why would the wide receivers want to go and be there? You're playing damn slow-ass tight ends all the time. Anyway, sorry. There'll be more ranting on that a little bit later. But okay,
sure.
Go ahead, and folks, feel free to comment on these schools along the way if you want to. I like the way they say NC-17, but I tell you, the NC-17 should not be about the schedule because I'm tired of the excuses. NC-17 should be the abomination of football that they're playing. So, okay, go ahead, JT. Number 9, State of Kent. Okay.
State of Kent, aka Kent State. Don't really even know, don't really care. This is a school that might be good academically, but not in football. Any thoughts on this school? I mean, I don't even really watch the conference they're in.
Well, like I said, 21 play, 93 yard. People talk about it. I hate games like that. I hate offenses. I want action. This 21 play, 93 yard, 12 plus minute drive. Oh my God! Talking about
only to lose the game.
Yeah, and 8 plays in 129. Yep. 24 straight losses in a row, man. All right. Well, we'll go to the next one.
All right. Number 8 is Acrimonious. I believe they mean Akron.
Yeah.
Yes. Ohio team again.
Did they ever score? Because I think the 2 games they had not scored.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look at them this past weekend.
I've got the schedules up though. Let's see. They scored. Oh wait. They I think they got their first win of the season this week. They beat Akron. They beat Duquesne 51-7.
Yeah, these are all the
Yeah,
practice teams for Ohio State.
yeah, that is something else. Yeah, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're now 1-3. They got their first weekend. Yeah, but I tell you what, look at that. Florida was already there. Man,
Yeah.
okay, go
All
ahead.
right. Number 7, Oregon Trail State. You have died of dysentery.
Well, why not? Because it's as bad as watching Florida Gator football. Two of my
And
teams in the bottom 10. Hey,
yeah, and they were blown out against number 6 Oregon this past
well, the
weekend
problem
too.
the problem is they're
So
playing
make
in
that 0-4.
the new Pac-12. It will never be like the old Pac-12. It's made up of all these Mountain West teams and the state directional schools, which I do like that football out there. I generally do, but they're not going to. As we're seeing, they're losing out on the recruiting. They lost out on the coach who jumped ship to Michigan State. You're not going to survive Washington State and Oregon State for very long. You're not going to be able to play with the big teams because you're not going to have the recruiting. See, a school like Oregon State just invested heavily in their football stadium. They got to be cringing after that and having lost a big conference affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having to settle for a new rebuilt Pac-12 is going to hurt them financially in the long term versus I would not be surprised to see Washington State still trying to get into the Big 12 or the Big 10, one or the other. And if they're desperate enough, maybe even the ACC, because some other schools have gone there. So,
right. All right. Number 6, Virginia Tech No Keys.
Well, they did finally win, and they got smashed by Old Dominion, but they did win this weekend. So that's why it'll be cool to see what happens with this in the week 4 release of the bottom 10. But it's still
It's not out yet. Yeah.
But they've also ended up firing their coach just like UCLA. So I'm sure UCLA will see very soon. So yes, and chat Chewy, I know that you're commenting. You keep commenting. We'll cover your comments in just a few minutes. Oh, now, you're happy with this one.
Notre Dame biting Irish. Well, they're 1-2 now because they beat Purdue at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, big man. Yeah, and were ranked 24th. You know, they gave up 30 points.
They moved up in the rankings too. Even though they gave up 30 points to an unranked team. And they only play one more ranked team as of right now. So what's the point in keeping them around? Well, TV market. So
Hell, Wes Cagle, good to see you.
Hey, Wes,
flying with his Eagle and not his State University of New Jersey Scarlet Knights. Okay, well, we got Notre Dame. They okay.
That's what I like with this list.
Yeah, sometimes they throw stuff in there. You know, there are worse teams, but
here you go, Dad. Man, you called it. Number 4.
UCLA, yay!
I mean, do you know anything about this team? I sure.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Real Wade, good to see you too. How are you tonight, Wade? Yes, UCLA, the home of Nico. I'm gonna leave you after they just fired their Deshaun Foster, the head coach, after a couple games into his second season, which is when Billy Napier should have been fired from the University of Florida. Actually, he should have been fired in his first damn year because anybody with a brain knew the bastard couldn't stay in. It was not SEC coach material. Did I say that? Sorry, I need to stop ranting. But FRU, yes, FU, R. Let's giggle. Yeah,
I love this. A little bit hyperbolic.
Oh, hey, but Wade actually has a good point. Wade actually has a good point here. What are the odds on the Beavers finish better than the Gators?
Oh,
I think it's possible. Looking at the Gators schedule, I mean, when Oregon State gets to playing in their conference, Oregon State has Malik Murphy, who played at Duke. I don't know. Possible. I wouldn't rule it out. All right, go ahead, JT.
So the NCAA was trying to, see if they wanted to stay in the Pac-2, but all the calls kept getting kicked to voicemail because of all the UCLA players bringing the transfer portal hotline. Ouch.
God, it's just amazing. A Big Ten team now that bad.
Yeah.
Especially with their tradition.
All right. Number 3, one of my favorites. Here we go. Eastern Michigan. Go Emus. Yeah.
Emus, yep.
They
Wade
usually
Florida's
ride the
1 and
bottom.
2, by the way. Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah, they're
usually ride
usually
the
at the
bottom of
bottom.
the MAC, which
Yep.
is impressive. But the best thing about the game is the band when you go to those games. So don't know what else you can really say other than it's really easy to get parking for those games.
Yeah. Cheap parking, too. That's.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they won this week. They beat Louisiana, believe it or not. They won 34-31. Everybody won but Florida and UCLA.
Yeah.
Now
So
that one more thing about UCLA. Now the rumors going out there. What's Nico I'm going to leave you going to do? Is he going to leave them because they only had 3 games so far? He could technically transfer and keep a year, which is one of the reasons why here that the series talk about Napier not being fired is that they're so afraid of losing talent. So they're trying to wait till after the thing where they can automatically leave this year without having to lose out eligibility, which to me is at this point, Florida, who cares? Good riddance, But I think this Gator team could be good with coaching. But okay, Sam Houston, we have a problem. All right. See, I think they've been a little hard on Sam Houston. They had a bad schedule though.
Yeah.
But
hail lemon pie.
Hello, Citrus. Howdy, fruitcakes. We got 14 people here tonight. Thank y'all. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe here on the YouTube side and follow us on the Twitch side. And Chewy, I have not forgotten your comments over there. We're going to get to them between things. And yeah, Gators, I would take that guy back now. Although I like to call him Oscar Mayer, but still anyway. But anyway,
right.
Okay.
So ready for number 1?
Top? Yep, we are.
All right. Drum roll. UMass.
Oh, God. Yeah, UMass. UMass plays like ass. They really do. They've been bad for years.
They made Iowa look like a high-scoring football team.
God, that's bad. That's bad.
3.
Yes, I would take Tebow back any day.
Oh, and they had a bye week. And I'm looking at the worst team according to this column.
So what were the scores that they lost this season?
They lost to Temple 42-10. They lost a 1-point game to Powerhouse Bryant.
Wow.
And then lost 47-7 in Iowa. Their remaining schedule is a loss at Missouri, a probable loss at Western, fellow bottom feeder Kent State. They have a chance, but it's on the road. Home against Buffalo, they might win that. Let's see, they're going to lose at Central as well. Akron also on the list. They might win on the road.
Yeah,
Loss versus Northern Illinois, a loss at Ohio, and a loss at home against Bowling Green.
Yes, it's the bottom 10, Wade. That's what it is. This is according to ESPN.com, but it's also been around for so long. But the bottom 10, and it's kind of goofy in a way. It's some not serious when you throw Notre Dame in, but they do what they do for fun, but some serious. And hi, Mrs. Thanks for stopping by for sure. Yeah, great to see you.
No, Wade thinks they're going to beat Ohio. I don't know.
What, UMass? Oh, man.
Yeah. Now, Ohio. Now, if I could just get to the school and not the game. You'll always love that, huh?
Yeah.
They lost a close game to Rutgers. They beat West Virginia in the Ohio State practice game. They beat Gardner Webb. Now, UMass is going to lose. I'm calling it now. They're going to lose to Ohio.
Yeah. I can believe that.
All right. So,
all right.
Shall we move on?
Yes, let us. Wow, we got 14 people on the YouTube side and 2 over here on the Twitch side, guys. Thank y'all for your support. Like I said, as we go through, feel free to put your comments in, and as we talk about some of the games and some of the news that is going on. Let me go back. Let me catch up. Let me see where we're here with this. Let's
folks, last week's show was on hiatus because Dadman was otherwise occupied. So we did not do picks.
Right.
So when we look at picks this week, they will be for the coming weeks, not a review of last week.
Right. Last week we were out of town. We were at Universal at Epic and stuff and just getting away and having some fun. All right. Chewy says, we're going, if I can get the comments again. I had it. What the heck? Where did, wait. Wait, what the heck? I lost the starred comments.
Okay.
I'm like, where the heck did they go? I'm like, you star comments and stuff, and two people twitching. Yes, that's not bad. Oh my God, where? Ugh. All right, okay, I found this comment, so I had to scroll back up manually. I don't know. I do not know what happened unless I somehow managed to get rid of all of them. Let's see. Yeah, I wanted to get this. Here we go. Here's the first one. Yo, glad I could be in the chats. Interesting week 4 in the books. College football today. SEC. I think I did do this one earlier. We're talking about the 9-game schedule in just a little bit. There is Small Town Republic here. We got Auburn. We're going to talk about Auburn, hopefully. Tree said, I did enjoy Memphis winning at home against the Razorbacks, but it was telling that Arkansas was in prime position to kill the clock and get a good enough distance to win the game. Winning field goal, but instead running back fumbles that what should have been an easy first down is recovered by Taggart's player. Yeah, I saw that play very well. It's like, plus also as a running back in that situation, 2 hands on the ball. He carried it like a loaf of the bread, and the Memphis guy came through, and you could see him, what they're trained to do, punch the ball. And you could see clearly he punched the ball out because in live action, they called him down and not a fumble, but replay clearly showed he lost possession of the ball before he hit the ground. So but what a way to lose the game, though. I mean, it really was horrible. Yeah, repping Ohio. Yeah, Deeple. On an unrelated note, Texas Tech versus Houston football gets a 6 p.m. kickoff time on ESPN, which is good news. Yeah, Tech is flying high after beatdown late against Utah. Houston with Weigman. That's the former Texas A&M quarterback, Connor Weigman, I believe, had given the Cougars offense something to look. His defense is not bad, but really needs to be tested. So that could be a good game between two schools on the up and up there. Very, very good. And Chewy knows his Western football. Also,
sounds like it. That's an area that I do not.
He and Buddy Hepburn, and our friend Sam, when she pops by, we'll talk about BYU because she's so passionate over her BYU team. Yeah, West Cagle. God, West Cagle. Bring Grandma back out, right?
Blue Holtz.
Yep. Yes. Oh, Deeple's here for moral support because Ohio State has an actual game first in the month playing at Washington. I love that. So, all right. Looking back at last week's games really quickly, let's see. On Friday night, Tulsa beats Oklahoma State 19-12. The reason what's significant of that game is that God, no, Rudy does not play at Notre Dame still, and apparently Joe Montana is pissed off at that movie and the whole story. So,
well,
you look it up. It's just like
he can be.
Well, anyway, Hollywood it. But Mike Gundy, the head coach, former quarterback, former player at Oklahoma State, was fired earlier today. Love you, Mrs. Was fired today after he said he's 58 now. And he spent like 35 years at the university as a player, assistant coach, and head coach. And he was one of the winningest coaches in program history. They had 4 winning seasons before him. Then he went on a streak of consecutive winning seasons. But
the orange and black OSU. Yeah,
the orange and black. Yeah, not the Beavers, but the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. And he has now been fired from Oklahoma State, which, it was kind of said, hey, Pop Culture Minefield, welcome. Good to see you tonight. How are you doing? Good to see you. Sit back, relax, enjoy some football with us. Hope you're doing well. And Chewy says, again, by the way, Houston's over for college basketball. Yes. Oh, God, Chewy. We should talk about the Florida-Houston National Championship game. What a game. But known more for college football, but it shows Willie Fritz is known for whatever team he coaches. In year 2, you tend to see drastic turnaround. Now, the Cougars benefit getting players to be recruited, stay at home, being in the Big 12. Yes. Moving up in conferences does help quite a bit with the recruiting. But you see that, but then you like Mike Gundy. One of the stories about him was he is kind of like Dabo Swinney. Some of these coaches are not transitioning to the modern college football game with the NIL and things like that. You remember we talked about that. They don't use the transfer portals. They don't do, they're slow in playing the players. And Mike Gundy has been known to kind of be dragging his feet with changing with the times, which JT, with what's happening now, either you got to get into the NIL and the transfer portals, or you're going to get left behind.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think, the question I had at the beginning of the season was how much are these transfers really going to help these schools? And I think this year the answer is quite a bit. Because I think it's proving that the churn in the gamble that you take on these high number of trades is letting you eventually just win the lotto on someone, because I think the player parity is just too great that, why keep people you have when you could go for somebody that might be better? I don't know. It's really sad. I'm still one of the mind, you commit to a school, you play there for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I don't like it. I probably never will.
Yeah, no, and I will say that. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Stay as long as you can. We appreciate it. But see, I agree. I don't like the transitory nature of it. Even like we just mentioned basketball. Florida's got people that were on the court at the end of the game against Houston, winning national title, that are not coming back next year. It's like, what? I mean, what? It's like unfathomable. It's like, you just won a national title. Why are you going somewhere else? And it just. But then again, they're bringing in more players, and paying people makes a difference. I mean, look at Florida right now. There's some talk. There's dissension because TJ Lagway is apparently making $3.8 million, and he's not seeing the bench for sucking, and it can cause problems. But they said Mike Gundy is one of those that does not really want to change with times. But yesterday was the 18th anniversary of this little thing. I always like to show it. Oh, you know what? Let me make sure I shared the screen properly, because I may not have.
18 years.
18 years since that happened. Yeah, since this news conference happened. Because what had happened, he pulled out, and you can see it already, he pulled out a newspaper to go after a writer. So let's enjoy a little
George W. Bush era. Wow.
It must have been.
He's been a coach there for a while.
A long time. That's what's so sad with this. He's been there over 20 years as a head coach, and it's a shame to see somebody go out like this in such a really a bad way. But honestly,
it happens. It happens. At every school, I feel like there's always a coach that just outstays their welcome. And Mark D'Antonio at Michigan State was one of those where you go all the way from going to the national CFP the second year, winning the Rose Bowl, turning around all this legacy of losing.
Yeah.
And then you stay around too long in your last 3 years, you don't win a football game against anyone, and then they got to get you gone and even fire the athletic director. I mean, it's sad whenever this happens. It's like you should go out on a high note. Why?
Well, I'm not going to play the whole 2 minutes, but we'll do a little bit. We'll cut through.
I'm going to talk about this article right here. If anybody hasn't read this article, I don't read it. This was brought to me by a mother of children.
By a mother of children.
It's worth reading. Let me tell you why I want to talk about this article. 3/4 of this is inaccurate. It's fiction.
Imagine newspapers being wrong,
This article embarrasses me.
But you don't say. You don't say.
Celebrate him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday. And you let us make that decision.
See, this is why I respected him and coaches like him when they get passionate about the players and stuff like that. I really do. And I hate to see when he gets fired down the road, because he was a good coach. He protected his players and stuff. He wanted them to do it the right way.
That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's
garbage.
And the editor that let it come out is garbage.
Garbage. I love
attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right.
Yep. And now,
Man, no. I'm 40.
Oh, here we go. Sorry, I went too far.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me or our coaches. Don't write about a kid that does everything right.
I gotta go back. I think I skipped too far.
Downgrade them to the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Right?
I know. It's like it is right, but but now this has changed. Remember, 18 years ago we had that. We what the environment was. Now
Well, no, they're
paying the
not
players
amateur
though.
athletes; they're professional athletes.
Nope, I know. Now it's changed. It's all different. You got. I mean, and to tell you, we saw that in the offseason with Nico. I'm gonna leave you because it's like, they pulled this stunt with Tennessee, and they had somebody said, "Okay, fine, don't let the door hit you in the butt. Go ahead." And you've got. I mean, it's a complete different generation. But like I said, in his case, ever since this day, I respected him. I never liked him really before that, but this one was a good one, and this one when he defended his athletes, I thought was a really, really cool thing. Jess said, "Oh, I thought of you when I listened to Kelsey Brothers podcast yesterday. They had Deion Sanders on. He talked about he was getting paid for being an MLB farm team and walk on in college football." Yep. Back in the days when Alabama was good, when they could secretly pay everybody and get away with it, everybody had to deal with a used car lot. So yeah, it was crashing deep. Yeah. So that is one of the breaking news stories today is that Mike Gundy, the longtime coach for Oklahoma State, has been fired, and that is end of an era. So yeah, he was 18 years ago. On that, he was literally 40. All right, well, let's look around last week in the league and around the country. We're going to just recap some of these games. Probably not get heavy into the stats unless there's a game or two, folks. If y'all want to look at the stats in detail, we'll probably look at a couple as we go through. But just the top 25, LSU crushes Southeastern Louisiana 56-10.
Do you think the only reason they scored points in the second half, meaning SC Louisiana, was because LSU sat their defensive starters?
Probably. But that might be why Miami only gave up 7 points in the second half, too, against the freaking Florida Gators. Florida loses at number 4, Miami, 26-7. That's a game we got to talk about. There she is. We will have to cover BYU tonight then. It's Sam. Sam, good to see you. Hey. I will tell you, I'm almost becoming a BYU fan now because of this lady, JT.
Yeah.
And they went, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Still undefeated, yes. But yeah, we'll talk more about the game. We'll come back to that because I do have some comments and a rant probably with that. Oregon crushes Oregon State 41-7. Oh my God, both of my teams tied. They both scored 7 points this week. FSU crushes Kent State 66-10. Sam Houston didn't show up to Texas 55-0. This is a surprise game of the week, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we're coming back through. 9th-ranked Illinois gets destroyed by 19th-ranked Indiana, 63-10.
I actually called that. I know we didn't talk about it. Yeah. I looked at that and said, "Oh no."
Well, we'll come back and talk about that. We'll come back and talk about that game a little bit. But I'm like, the size of the margin, and my biggest complaint about Indiana since last year's been they play nobody. Illinois has been on fire. A lot of people had a lot of stock in Illinois, but
not me.
Well, no, but a lot of people did. But Indiana, I mean, it's hard for me to slap down on them now after a win like that. Now, let's see them play Ohio State. See, like I'm a deep 101s here. I like to know what he thinks about teams like Illinois or Indiana because I mean, he knows his Ohio State team, but I still don't trust Illinois or Indiana ever against Ohio State or even Michigan for that matter until they actually beat them. And I think you and I have talked about that. We won't believe it till we actually see it. A game of the week for small time Republic and others. Auburn fights hard, but they lose at Oklahoma 24-17. I've got the story brought up on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ole Miss beats Tulane 45-10. Tennessee crushes UAB 56-24. Utah gets crushed at home by Texas Tech. Talk about what Texas Tech being on fire. It was a close game well into the third towards the fourth quarter, and then Texas Tech just blows off Utah 34-10. Georgia Tech. I might have to cheer for Georgia Tech. I love the Rambling Wreck. It's funny. A few weeks ago, Mom and I were in a rehab center, and Mom's like, "I want to watch Georgia Tech," because I was making her watch football. I want to watch Georgia Tech. I was like, "Mom, I want to watch Auburn. I want to watch Georgia Tech." So I had to watch Georgia Tech for her, and they crushed Dion's team. Folks, Hades has officially frozen over. Do you know why? Vanderbilt scored 70 points on anybody. Vanderbilt 70, Georgia State 21. And by the way,
them, and you might be right in the end.
No, I'm not going to be right. I'm like, damn. I mean, Diego Pavia passed for 245 yards. This Georgia State team beat Vanderbilt last year and nearly knocked them out of a bowl game. But go ahead, JT.
Remember, I mean, I'll switch sports, and I know that's kind of like not where we're going with this, but in basketball, the great thing about NCAA basketball is you have your legendary teams. You know, you're always going to have your Duke, your Kentucky, your Michigan State, your Connecticut teams that are always going to be good and seen that way, right?
Yeah.
But then you have these periods of time where you'll get a Gonzaga that gets good for a long time, or you have a Georgetown that gets good for a long time, or a Xavier. And then they're good, but then that's good for like 10, 15 years. Then they fade, and then somebody else comes around, and then they're really good for a time, and then they fade. And so there's always this, fairy tale, or this rookie team that comes up that's a nobody team, and you get churn where you don't get that quite so much in football. Every year, like when you said Indiana and Illinois surprised you, that didn't surprise me one bit. So if I get any type of difference or change in any of the power of a conference, a team like Vanderbilt is awesome to me, because even though I might not root for them, I like to see a new conversation. I don't want to see Michigan, Ohio State every single year for my entire lifetime. How boring is that?
Not to the Ohio State or Michigan fans, it's not.
Well, but I mean, in a way, it is, right?
Yeah,
it's
like it's like in the SEC when it was always Florida, Alabama every year in the championship game. It made it boring for a lot of the other teams around the league. Yeah, no, I get you. I get you with that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And if you're always just going to play that other team, why even bother with a whole season? It just, So I loved this 70-21.
Now, Stephen Pye said, "I never saw the movie Rudy. Is it good?" Maybe the last 3 minutes of it where they get him on the field, but I don't know. But then again, I understand it's basically a bunch of horse bunk. But then again, who knows? Who knows? So, Deeple, he's only a TTUN. Teton loses every year. I'm losing it on the Teton, Deeple.
Is it Texas Tech?
Yeah, it could be Texas Tech University loses every year.
Okay.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could, I tell you Sparties and Buckeyes would agree on that about Michigan losing every year for sure.
Oh, we can find common ground.
Yeah,
on that.
Exactly. Sure. Speaking of Michigan, they go on the road to Corntown in Nebraska, beat Nebraska 30-27 in a really close game. Michigan rights the ship. Nebraska, see, this is the type of game I think if Nebraska's ever to be relevant again, this Nebraska will win. You got to start beating the upper tier of the Big Ten.
At home. Yeah. You need to beat them at home, especially when you come in with.
He won't use the name. Keep that name out of your mouth. God. I got you. I like that. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I know. Rhode Island Institute of Technology. Go Nads. Oh God, I can't show that with.
No.
I cannot show that tonight on this show. Sam would freak out. Yeah. Anyway, but my other people, I wasn't even prepared for the last time I showed it. It was interesting.
It was indecent. That's all you can say. It's indecent.
It was very indecent. But
this game, I look at this. Oh, they won, and you'll have everybody in Ann Arbor saying, "Oh, we're such a great team. Nebraska was so great. They were so good," and you only beat them by 3 points. They're an unranked team. They're not going to. I doubt they'll be bowl eligible at the end of the year. So who did you really win? I would not have moved them up a single spot, maybe to 20th ranked, because this win is not a quality win. All it does is help you sit a little bit better.
Oh my
In
God,
the,
I
you know,
forgot. I forgot
Mhm.
she had seen the mascot. I remember. I think I broke it out on that show at the end of the thing. And okay, yeah, that mascot again. That's how bad it is as a Gator fan these days, Sam, is we're desperate for anything, anything these days. So
No, Mr. Niblick, go look up Rhode Island Institute of Technology ads on your own time.
so you got the truffle
Preferably
shuffle.
on a VPN. Now,
So
he's saying nothing could be worse than the truffle shuffle. I'm like,
so you got to dance.
no, he's talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you had your own dance out there, JT. I was
No,
going to say
no,
jump
no,
on
no. That is a dance or a maneuver. It's not
go ahead.
mine.
You don't want to show it to us?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, I dance on camera, but then again, I need to hide my Peely costume when I do that. Speaking of ranks up and down the polls, real quick, Missouri 23rd ranked beats South Carolina at home 29-20. What's significant here is about the collapse of South Carolina.
Yeah, this seals their season.
Yeah, top 10 to losing to Vanderbilt at home and now on to Missouri on the road. Listen, not Frank Beamer, his son, Shane Beamer was on the hot seat along with Billy Napier 2 years ago. This team had a lot of expectations. They were up to top 10.
From us included.
Yeah, and even people still will never respect Vanderbilt, but losing to them at home, the way they did, and of course they lost their quarterback in the game, but then again, they go on the road, they lose again. The defense is not playing as well as they were supposed to, and wow, South Carolina now at 2-2, and it's just like, gee, Manetti's. It's that would be the next coach. He won't be fired this year, barring an utter complete collapse, because he was on the hot seat 2 years ago. But watch this job next year. If South Carolina does not right the ship and at least like 9-3, even if he's 8-4, you're going to hear rumors. You're going to start, the heat's going to turn up on them, because the South Carolina fans were expecting to compete this year, and they had all reason to expect it. They had a good schedule, they had good talent, and everything else. So
it's going to take a long time to really bear this prediction out, but I think the first 5 years of this NLI portal are going to determine who the powerhouses are in these mega conferences. And if you don't hit it in the first 5 years, your reputation's only going to suffer, and it's a steep cliff to fall off of between the haves and the have-nots in these. You need to move now.
Mama says Gators are cranky because they got dumbass coach, and I agree with that.
Yep.
That's my biggest problem when I said fire the guy 4 years ago in his first season. He did not fit. I have been consistent with that for 4 years, JT. I could tell his gimmick offense, clap, clap, shift, and everybody right jammed up. This will not work in the Southeastern Conference. You've got to either spread it out, or you got to have the horses to just run the flick over people like Alabama has done.
Can you say this like Adam Sandler? I think it's a water boy.
Yeah, it is. Mama says Gators are cranky because they got that dumbass coach.
There we go. There we go.
Now we will look at the top 25 a little bit, but BYU in the top 25, interesting. Would assume Memphis would sneak in. Wow. I bet, the thing is about schedules and respect for your schedule, but they,
And Chewy, I thought BYU should have been in week 4.
Yeah.
I thought they should have dumped Notre Dame after they went 0-2 and a week off, and then a team like BYU should have come in and done something, but they didn't. But they finally, I think, righted that ship this week.
Of course, we got somebody that thinks BYU should be number 1, obviously, but that's okay.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about how awful Notre Dame is?
Let's come back to that 1 second. Okay. Let me get finished. Actually, we're going to talk about them real quickly. They bust out 56-30 over Purdue, losing it. Let's go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us about We'll go ahead because we're not going to talk about the game itself so much. But
Yeah,
let us
so
tell
Purdue
what you
is
think on that.
Purdue is one of those teams in my preseason projections that I put in the not ranked category because they don't matter. This is not a team that's going to win anything in the Big Ten. It's just not. They don't have the money to compete to buy the players in a portal, and they don't have the farm system. This team is always, unless you have a miracle Drew Brees type person, is always in the bottom half of the Big Ten. So you take a team like that at home, you haven't won a game yet this year, you've had time off already, and you let them run all over your defense with 30 points. I mean, really, this is not a powerhouse team, and you still let them put up 30. 56 to 30 is not a good win, folks.
I can't remember
Not
the
against
last
a
time.
team
I
like
can't
that.
remember. I can't remember the last time I've seen a team start 0-2 and still be ranked. I mean,
I don't know if it's ever happened.
I think it's happened before, but it'd be like a Nebraska in the glory days or some of the big teams. But they had to lose against good opponents. But it's rare to see after 2 weeks and then a winless team still in the poll. But stranger things have happened. Like, you ready for folks? We're ready for a Dad Man rant if you want to a little bit later. But here's a JT rant right now. USC 25th ranked ends up holding off, putting away Michigan State 45-31 on the West Coast in a game that started at 11 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, and so I would like to talk about this game.
Please tell us all about it, JT. Did you stay up for it?
I'd like to tell you about, how the defense didn't show up, or maybe the coaching schemes were wrong. Maybe there were some critical injuries. Couldn't do any of that. Why? Well, it was on a network that I got this time, but it started at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The school is not in Central. It's not in Mountain. It's not in Pacific. It is in Eastern time. So 11 p.m. starts. You think the game's going to go, and this is the way Fox and the university tried to sell this shit start time, was, it's the late game. This is the prime time game. We get to play under the lights. Like, no, screw this. 11 p.m. You get a 4-hour game because they're going to chock it full of crap commercials that nobody wants to see. I don't want your pills. I don't want your insurance. Okay, enough. Just enough. You get a 4-hour game, Dad Man. I can do the math. That means this thing is not going to be over until after 3 o'clock in the damn morning. 3 in the morning.
I figured maybe 10, but 11, it was like, wow. That's
so
and I love my West Coast football.
I had to Google it. The game didn't end till around 3:15 in the morning.
Wow.
3:15 in the morning for a college football game. So let alone, I'm gonna just say, maybe the players moved out there a few days earlier, slept in a bunch, and got their clocks adjusted to playing a football game at 3 in the effing morning. Okay, let's just say that's true, which we know it's probably not. It's not going to work for you that well. Okay, but let's just say that the players are ready to play at 3:15 in the morning.
Yep.
What's the goal of the university? It's to get more people to come to your university, and it's to win football games. Does an 11 p.m. start at a game achieve any of that? No, it doesn't. These people are idiots. They're morons. I don't know how they even got jobs in an athletic department.
See, that's a game for people like me that are addicted to football that want to watch it 24/7. Anybody in their right mind would, and that's something you're a fan though. And no, I didn't send Ruby Rod to JT. I did not send Ruby Rod to your house, by the way.
No. But you're not out there buying Michigan State gear. You're not out there looking to send kids or yourself to the university. You're not looking at buying tickets to go to East Lansing football games. You are not getting them anything but a little bit of advertising money if you're in the key demo. Okay, so I look at this and I'm going, okay. So I didn't get to see this game, and my kid doesn't get to see this game. So if my kid gets to look at football games and get an idea of what school he wants to go to, because believe it or not, a very, very high percentage of people like to go to schools where they feel like they're winners.
Yeah.
Is that a logical decision? No, but you need to
Well,
start this as early as possible to get a positive image of your university.
well,
So when they make this decision between 3 or 4 schools, they pick yours. And guess
and
what? Anyone under the age of 18 is not doing, not staying up for an 11 a.m. start and a 3:15 in the
yeah.
stupid morning finish.
And
Okay.
listen, I will say, like our friend Sam, she does it with her kids with the BY, but it's like, I know she has bedtimes and stuff like too. That's a serious issue that everybody's had with that over the years is that like these start times and end times. I mean, like look at just the playoff games in many of the major sports and all. That championship games start at 8:30. Well, they don't start till near 9 after the national anthem and all the crap, and then you get the commercials and all this stuff. And I mean, like the Super Bowl, the joke is about having Monday the after as a national holiday because people want to enjoy the sports and stuff, but they're so out of.
Players aren't going to want to go to this. See, here's the other thing: your high school players that are getting talked to by 10 different schools. Who would want to stay up to 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. to see if you want to watch this game?
Well, one of the things that would they ever schedule the Ohio State University like that? Would they ever schedule Michigan like that?
I'm really trying to hold back the F-bombs right now, Dad, man. By the way, this is beyond stupid for getting people to want. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing.
Buddy,
right now, I got my eye daggers out for this. Okay,
no, and you should.
This is ridiculous. So, from a player recruitment, a university enrollment perspective, this was stupid. And I'll tell you what, it was stupid for Fox as well. Yeah. Why? Because they weren't the only game with a top 25 team that played out on the West Coast last Saturday.
This is how bad it was, JT. Buddy said I watched the game, but it was even late for here.
So, Buddy, state of Michigan requires that there's no alcohol sales on any premises between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. except on, I believe it's New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I think it's the only exception. So when your game ends at 3:15, your bar's already done last call at like 1:30, 1:45 at the utmost.
Yeah.
So it's not like anyone's going to stick around and watch the end of this game. So you've cut out an hour or two of money-making time that you get during a limited time of the year during the football season. So it was bad for your economy.
This was a very high-scoring game, too.
Yeah.
That's the thing is it's 45-31, folks. That type of game takes longer. It's not like a 6-3 Bear Bryant run the game and the time expires. This is
it was a 4-hour, 15-minute run time.
They combined for almost 900 yards of total offense between the two teams.
76 points. 76-point game. The other part about this, and I was getting to it, was Fox really screwed up here too. They're not going to get off the hook because there was another game. Damn man, there was another game. Oh, Deeple, Michigan State played at USC starting at 11 p.m. on Saturday and didn't finish till 3:15 in the morning Eastern. He knows. That's why Dadman said, did you ever think they would have Ohio State play out there? Hell
or
no.
Michigan either.
Or Michigan. No, neither one of them.
Because Ohio State, I think this week, is Ohio State going to Washington?
They might. I think they are.
But they have a more normal. I'll look real quick, but I think they have a more normal start time. We talked about this. We talked about this when all this conference expansion happened. Remember about what about the East Coast teams going west?
But it was even stupider than that. It was even stupider than that, Dad, man. And the point about this is why Fox messed up is they had Oregon State playing on the West Coast. That was a bigger game than USC Michigan State. And they were saying that, this USC Michigan State game was the big game of the evening. So we gave them the prime time start. Like, no, you effing didn't. No, you effing didn't. Because that Oregon State game started at the 7 o'clock time slot. Right. They should have had these two games swapped because both of the Oregon State teams are on the West Coast for that late start for them. There was no reason.
Ohio State is playing at Washington at 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern.
Yeah, exactly. So like an 11:30 start on the this Yeah, exactly, Deep. This was the stupidest thing by Fox. The stupidest thing that I don't know how much power the athletic department has to say we're not effing showing up with our team to that game until you change it. But yeah, buddy, that's why you put that Oregon game outside at the late time, because no one on the East Coast is going to care. No one in
Yeah.
the Central Time Zone is going to care. Everybody in Oregon cared, and you could put them on the late time because it's still early enough that people might want to go to that game.
Yeah,
This
but I think,
was
but I will tell you
horrible.
though, honestly though, I think that Fox probably looked at the competitive balance, because I tell you, I knew Oregon State was going to get crushed by Oregon, but they figured they
It
might
doesn't.
have a better game with
None of
these
that.
two. But then again,
None of
why
that
not?
matters when nobody's watching.
Well,
When
why
no
didn't
one's
Fox?
watching.
Why wouldn't Fox make this at least a 9 o'clock game, or even a 10 o'clock game? But 11, it's like, you know,
Because they couldn't go move it earlier because they had their precious Oregon State game in the time slot right before it. It's like, you guys are so stupid. You should have
again,
switched it
yeah.
around, because guess what? You had no one watching in Michigan. No one watched it. I don't know. I mean, obviously somebody did. That's
Look,
slightly
I'm a Beaver
hyperbolic.
fan, but I'm a Beaver fan, but they're so bad I didn't bother watching the game even earlier at
Well,
night.
my sister's in Central Time Zone. She looked at that and said, "Yeah, I'm not even going to bother.
Yep.
Not even a half."
Depot saying the latest the game should start is 9 p.m. Eastern. Any game after that should be localized for the West Coast. Yeah. I'm looking up BYU's playing at 10:15 this week, but they're playing Colorado. So out there, it's more like 7-8 o'clock when that game plays. For the local times, which is not bad. But he was actually surprised that they would start that late. And yes, we love the Beavers, even though they're bad. But yeah,
And I know you said you're a junkie, but how many of those are you out there, right? When the school that you're trying to build this TV audience off of is like 90% of people are going to watch that on both sides, you just cut out half your TV audience.
And Depot, that's what we touched base
doing
on here. Depot, that's kind of what we were talking about too with championship games and other things when they start these games at ridiculous times. Like the national championship game usually tips off at 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock on CBS or whatever. It's and that's only an hour and a half sport or 2 hours.
Michigan State didn't do well.
No,
they did not do well. Their offense did just fine, scoring 31 points, but the defense just did terribly. And, I can't speak to any of that game because I wasn't going to stay up to watch it. I really didn't. I was even streaming on Admiral Teague's channel.
Yeah,
we
I remember.
Ended our late night show and they were at halftime.
Wow.
Like, no,
that's
I'm
a late game then.
Bed. I'm going the after bed.
It's, I mean, because you can't scream and yell because you'll wake your kids up. In my house, I wouldn't care. My wife wouldn't care, but you don't want to wake your kids up sometimes. It's hard to watch a game quite like that.
I'm not sleeping in the middle of the day for 4 or 5 hours so I can wreck my sleep and stay up all night.
Yeah, Buddy also said that 45-31 was not as close as it was. So
yeah, I mean, very well possible.
All right.
Anyway, you heard me rant. I'm pissed.
There's your rant. Yeah. We're going to catch up a couple games because there's still a lot of stuff that we need to catch up with tonight. There's Memphis and Arkansas. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Memphis held on for the 32-31 win with the dramatic play near the end when Arkansas going for the game-winning score. Fumbles inside the 10-yard line. Memphis just punched the ball back. Great defensive play. Clear fumble. Not a bad call by the officials. With that one, a game that's got Dabo Swinney in trouble. Syracuse crushes Clemson. This game was in Clemson. Syracuse goes on the road, wins 34-21. Wow. I know people are calling for his job there, and actually some people have rumored him to leave there to go to Florida, which I'm saying, yay, 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 yay. Yeah. It's just I take Dabo Swinney in a heartbeat, but I'm going to hold off on the Florida Gator talk for a bit. Let's take a look at just looking at other games around the nation that really we're going to do a little bit different. We're not going to go heavy into a lot of the stats of some of the games tonight as we do because there's other breaking news. Arizona State goes on the road, beats Baylor 27-24 in a game that was interesting there. Let's see. And
BYU.
BYU, yes, BYU. We got two for our great friend Sam out there and the kiddos. BYU goes on the road. Actually comes to the East Coast to East Carolina, wins that game 34-13. BYU
They should have had a 7 a.m. start just for that game because everybody wants to wake up at 7 a.m.
Why
on a
are you being
Saturday
so
for that.
man? You're really wanting to spread the love with everybody, you know.
Yeah.
But I will say though, Bachmeier for BYU, who I was not impressed ever throwing the ball, actually threw for 250 yards in this game, which I think was a good thing for BYU because when watching them enough, they amassed 418 total yards, but they were so run heavy. But it was good to see that they actually could throw the football when they needed to, because we're traditionally with BYU teams is Ty Detmer, Jim McMahon. They put up big passing yards, but they no, Dave, no,
He's a genius.
no, but
Absolute genius.
I take my football too seriously though. But yeah, this BYU team, I'd say really watch them coming up. I've seen them play a lot, and they're fun, they're exciting, and see what happens, what they do. But of course, they're not yet in the Big 12 schedule with TCU, who's actually become very good. TCU is solid to watch. UCF, I mean Cincinnati, you got some good teams out there in the Big 12 this year. Of course, Sam said, of course, the big game she's looking for when BYU plays Utah. That is a big game coming down the road. But so that's, look forward to BYU. They came east, and what was interesting, their fan base, JT, I saw one of their school put out some PR stuff. They actually were interviewing people, are like, where are you from? And all their fans, they had several from Florida that were up in Carolina, some from Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
People traveled several states away to watch BYU whenever they got close. So
because
very,
very they rarely ever come out east, right? So
yeah,
it's a big event.
So I miss Sam said, hey, there's BYU fans all over the great nation, so everyone watch that game no matter what time it is. But yes, I agree. But see, at least over there you had the advantage of it being you're 11 o'clock Eastern would be 8 o'clock Pacific, or even 9 o'clock Central Mountain. So it does help, I mean, try to imagine if BYU played a game that kicked off locally at 11 p.m. at night. That's like, because of course, one of the biggest problems that have always been in like people that go to church and stuff on Sundays and stuff was, you want to be able, you don't want to fall asleep in church, or be like Homer Simpson, like, it's good to see y'all in church today, but yes. Oh, see, this is the passion, dude. This lady's vicious, man. I like it. Hey, as long as you beat your rival, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. Let's go back to some of the games, and then we're going to take a look at this week's game. We'll look at the top 25 and then close up. But let me go for. I hope our friends.
I'm looking at Fallout. Dave's got some great points here. You would get every top recruit. And I pointed out that, they would listen to the coach. Great points.
Oh, Fallout Dave. You two guys. So
you're not careful. Ohio State's gonna do this and really get you.
But that's the problem, is Florida's going to become very irrelevant very quickly if they don't get serious. I mean, they just won a basketball national title. Baseball's sort of slipping. They need to get in there and stuff. I love that passion. Yeah, and so, heck yeah, driven quite a ways to BYU game. That's a great fan base. We got cousins though for Florida that do travel. Although now it's like, why the hell would you even go? Why would you go? They always look for Tennessee or LSU, but why would you go spend the money and travel like that for a team that doesn't even show up? So,
what's the furthest you ever gone for a Florida game?
To Miami. About when Will Muschamp was head coach, I went down there to watch a game with my friend.
Is that closer than Georgia?
Athens, time-wise, would be about the same, believe it or not, even though Athens is a shorter distance, but it's all those back roads. I did get to see
Yeah.
the one Florida Georgia game in the swamp though. So that was cool. Of course,
So
Florida killed them.
the furthest,
That's why Sam said that's why they have that one Friday game. That weekend we have something called General Conference. So we have church broadcasts on Saturday and Sunday. So they have it on Friday. Interesting. Yeah.
the furthest I've ever gone for Michigan State was to go all the way to Orlando for the bowl game, where they proceeded to lose to the Georgia Bullshite Dogs with Matthew Stafford as the QB.
Yep.
Who then proceeded to go to the Lions for a decade and never win anything.
Yep. Well, I hope small time's still around because I'm going to talk a little bit about this Auburn Oklahoma game, which was actually a game I did watch a bit of. I mean, Oklahoma wins in the end 24-17, but this game was marred by the officiating, well known horrible in the SEC again because one. You're not allowed certain deception plays, which to me, I think it's all football. I don't care if you can't keep an eye on it. I think that's big deal. That's on you for not being able to stop it. But then again, the rules are the rules. The rules are the rules. This article from AP said that Oklahoma got away with 1 second quarter touchdown against Auburn Saturday. 24-yard touchdown catch from John Mateer. The receiver appeared to be running off the field. Instead, he stopped and ran a pattern, ended up wide open for the score. It was a crucial play because if you look at the score, it was a 10-10 halftime game. So, but what's weird is that the conference actually admitted that it was wrong, that the officiating crew did not properly interpret the action as a hideout tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. They say appropriate accountability will be applied without additional comment. And rumors in the back channels and on sports radio have been these official crew will be assigned to Florida Gator games for the rest of the year. So, but the conference has been big about Ole Miss and their fake injury stuff. They're doing that stuff. So with this, they've mentioned a play on its SEC officiating X account, saying simulated replacements or substitutions cannot be used to confuse opponents. Auburn's coach Hugh Freeze was visibly upset at the pit play. He tried to call timeout, but they was not granted. These officials, I tell you, they're so weird about when they grant a timeout and when they don't grant a timeout. He said, "I guarantee you." Well, I better be quiet. He said they didn't hear us trying to call timeout. Yeah, we'll see. We were instructed all offseason about deception plays and things, so we'll see what's said. But at this point, it's meaningless. Auburn's stuck with a conference loss. Now, you can say, well, maybe we don't know how the game would have ended up the rest of the way, but still.
This is true.
But still, it did mar the game. And I believe that there was other things that went in this game too, not just this one call. It sounded like this officiating crew really did a bad job in the game overall.
Not that they were slanted towards one team. It was just many mistakes, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very many mistakes.
Okay.
So.
I did not get to watch this one. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I did not get to witness a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so
but there's questionable stuff all around. I mean, last night, Monday Night Football, I was watching the Lions defeat handily the Baltimore Ravens, and they gave Baltimore a field goal, and the ball clearly went straight over the upright, which is not a field goal. And they sat for a long time underneath the field goal judges did, and I'm like, if you don't know, you don't call it. And it clearly went straight over. I'm like, if it goes over it at any point, that is not a field goal. That's out. It's yeah.
I got to bring up this Michigan 30-27 in Nebraska.
Sure.
You paid $12 million for a quarterback to come in and throw for 105 yards. I mean, come on. Yes. This is a problem with this. They're not amateurs anymore. Like I said, $12 million for a quarterback to throw 105 yards. I mean, they're back to Michigan football, 290 yards on the ground. That's like, Why did you pay $12 million for a guy? But granted,
but they've tried to go the mobile quarterback type thing before, and it was under the Rich Rodriguez era. So I mean,
yeah,
you're probably guaranteed to lose all that anyway. But
yeah.
it didn't work out for them.
Well,
They've
so many
always
times,
done well when they have your traditional stay in the pocket QB, and that's when they go really far.
Yeah.
They don't do well with like a Lamar Jackson type. And
look, I tell you what, I don't like Ohio State, but I'm like, I want to see Ohio State destroy Michigan, because I'm like, you pay $12 million for a quarterback. They're part of the problem with what's happening with college football. I mean, no kid out of high school is worth $12 million. I'm sorry. Even pro quarterbacks don't even get $12 million.
Talking about Underwood?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And even LSU was offering him $8 million. I mean, there should be a salary cap in the college ranks right now. I think what you're seeing, like at Florida, it's starting to cause a lot of division, because there's not the talk is that the locker room is out of control because Napier's protecting DJ Lagway. People said he was hurt, was not full into fall practices. You can see the way he's clunky and everything else right now, and they won't sit him.
Well,
not that I think the backup quarterback's going to do any much better, but the thing is they're stuck favoring one player over the rest of the roster, and it's causing team dissension.
Click on Underwood's name, because this will back up your point even more. Yeah. Now, $12 million, he was born in Detroit, so you could have gotten the hometown discount. And there should be, on the overview page, there should have been season stats. Here, let me send you the link.
Here's his season, his career stats: 58 of 102, which is this season. 58 of 102, 57%. 2 touchdowns and 1 pick for $12 million.
Here, click on that link I just sent you, because it's a different view. I don't know how you got here and I got somewhere else.
People said, I hope that team up north, you lose every game so much they disband the football program. Well, you and JT feel a lot alike.
Click on what I sent you there.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I got to shift screens. You know what happens? You may have to take over the stream in a second. So let's see. Let's see here. Okay.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Can you make it big?
I'm trying to. It just takes a second. Yes.
Okay. So top right. His season stats: 733 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm getting my own voice.
Yeah. I paused it.
29.
Yeah. Like I said,
29th best quarterback for 12 million.
One game conference, 12 of 22, 54%, 105 yards. It's it's really now we're heading on another issue with the NIL and everything else, but still it shows the
I'm
problem.
Getting an echo of my voice.
I don't know how you're doing it. It might be because I don't know why. How about now? Is
that's all better? I don't know.
Yeah, it may be somehow, but it I don't know which way it went. But yeah, the whole point is his numbers do not justify $12 million. That's what I said all along.
And he was from Detroit. You could have gotten him for cheap.
He never played a down of college football. That's like when Nico wanted more money in the offseason. Tennessee told him, hey, go find somebody else. We don't want you. And look, they actually have improved themselves by finding a better quarterback that fits their offense. And look where Tennessee is now. Look where Nico is on the roster at UCLA that is completely struggling. They've already fired their coach.
It's almost like that first year they should have a salary cap on what you can offer a first-year player. And then after that first year, it protects the school, so that way you don't have a list as long as your arm of quarterbacks that don't work out that you all of a sudden have to pay $12 million.
Yeah, and like this whole paying the players along with the transfer portal has become a clown show. I agree with that. It's not saying you can't pay the players. It's not saying they can't transfer, but they've got it to where these players get mad. They can transfer any day they want to. They can walk off in the middle of the season as long as it's before the third game, the fourth game or something, and they can just, I do not mind if a coach leaves or gets fired, then they can transfer without penalty. That's okay, one thing. But these players can just run off and walk off when they feel. And there's no contract. That's the biggest thing. There is nothing holding them to the school committed in return. Now, I will say, though, the ugly part of college sports is those athletic scholarships. They don't pay for their education for 4 years. They're generally year-to-year scholarships.
Mhm.
There have been cases that players have gotten screwed by the universities. And so that's where a lot of those abuses have come back to justify paying the players. But like that with this uncontrolled, basically it's uncontrolled free agency. As long as you get somebody that wants you somewhere, you can leave anytime you want to. There's a winter transfer portal during the playoffs. Remember last year, we got Tennessee Volunteer players transferring out of Knoxville when they're getting ready for the friggin' playoffs. And that's how bad it is in the spring. And then people can jump around, and that's crazy. It's made it a show. So, and this is one thing is, how do you pay someone that kind of money without them stepping a foot on the field coming in from high school? That's why
I say you need a cap the first year, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to sit through, like, look, especially living in like Metro Detroit, the Ann Arbor market is huge compared to the East Lansing market for what sports teams get talked about. And so I every year in, year out, have to hear about how great all these incoming players are from Michigan.
Yeah.
So I just know a lot about them because that's what the market wants.
You're $12 million. You're $12 million in a road game at Oklahoma, 9 of 24, 142 yards. No touchdowns, no picks.
If I had a dollar for every single quarterback that Michigan recruited out of high school that didn't do shit ever, I could probably go afford to I don't know, go buy a pizza with inflation these days. I mean, it's a lot. So the fact that you would $12 million a freshman, it does not look responsible to me.
No, it doesn't. Well, let's get on to a couple of
Good for
stories.
him,
Yeah,
though.
exactly. Good for them. But the programs, you don't have to give it to them. We need to move on because I do want to get to our picks, and I do also want to get to the news Chewy had talked about earlier about the 9-game conference schedule in the SEC. But let's take a look at one last game. I mean, Vanderbilt, still shocked at 70 points. There's some good games out here. We talked about BYU, but the elephant in the room. The elephant, you don't want to know, Stan Wolf. You don't know. Please tell me the children are not around. I'm going to do my best to not swear too bad tonight.
Oh, here we go.
If they are,
Folks,
I just,
Deadman, to be fair, you were better this week. You know, I saw that score in the Florida game. I was watching some of the Florida game, and I was expecting some interesting text messages to float across the screen that I would have to heavily redact for,
I didn't give you
for
any
the YouTube
redact.
Audience. And you had a healthy weekend.
Well, in part I was there with Mom, so I couldn't go crazy. And on last Friday I had my first show with Anna's Game Land called Get Over It, right?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like that. Get over it. I'm almost over it because it's like why invest the emotion and time into these clowns when the head coach himself? I got more passion in my right knuckle than that son of a gun has on the sideline. He could sit there just like a lump on a log, just getting hit, and looking like a dumbass, looking back. Just the guy for 4 years has been a bump on a log, no emotion, and I don't think emotion's everything to it, but have some damn passion, have some concern, have some pride in what you're doing. It does filter down to the players. It does. But no, we get Spitgate people now with this so-called, there was a bad environment before. Well, what? We got people playing Dallas Cowboys now spitting on a player 2 days after the Cowboys did it. There's no discipline on this team. They're constantly making mistakes. This Miami game, one freaking timeout, one freaking first down in the first half. That is embarrassing. That's what they should have done to whatever Long Island iced tea they played at the beginning of the season. They struggled for 55 points, and when they should have put up 90 against a school that couldn't even throw a 2-yard pass. Oh, good. Okay, good. That makes me feel better, Sam, because this is bullshit. I'm sorry. This is freaking ass bullshit. To be the SEC, to have 3 national titles in the last 20-something years, and have to sit through this shit week to week, and the university does nothing about it. All this talk about, well, they don't have a president in place. Screw all that. Fire the athletic director too, because I've got booster friends and family that want the athletic director gone, but he's safe because of the basketball team now. This guy, I told you 4 years ago, JT, you've been with me that long. I've told you since the day he was hired, or ever since you knew me, this guy needed to go. He's not an SEC caliber coach. Clap, clap, shift. Clap, clap, shift. I mean, it's like every line, and I keep hearing other people say the same thing. They've got 11 men within 10 yards of each other on the line of scrimmage. There is no way you can spread out that defense. There's no way you can attack. Why the hell? We've heard about all these wide receivers coming to Gainesville this year. Well, they're not any use because you got 2 tight ends in the game. And you're throwing this dinky-dink stuff the whole friggin' game. Then, of course, you get some success running the ball, but he gets shut down because you can't throw the ball down the field because you're clap, clap, shift and 3 yards out patterns. When a guy that's been teased as having a big arm and you're not using your formations, you're not setting in formations to give yourself success to help the quarterback or to spread out the defense. And then now, Jaden Baugh, the talk is, some of the fans have said, goodbye, Jaden, just go ahead and leave. We understand, go and leave. Because, like I told you, Trevor Etienne, one of my favorite running backs in Gator history, was a great ball player. And guess what? He had to split time like it's upward football, which my kids played, and that's good. But, that's the thing when everybody shares equal time. But the friggin' University of Florida, Jaden Baugh got 12 carries in that game. Now, Jacoby Jackson's good. He got 7. But they ran 2 end-arounds with Eugene Wilson, a wide receiver, that netted 3 yards. I mean, there's something wrong with this guy and this play calling. 61 yards passing, 80 yards rushing against Miami. This is the second game in a row. This defense gave them a chance to win. They pulled it within 13-7, but then there's nothing in the second half.
And look, I didn't think Miami even played a good game.
Oh.
They were
Sam,
slow on offense.
Yeah.
This should have been a bigger blowout.
Well, listen to this. Florida's receiving. Vernell Brown, 3rd. 2 catches, 22 yards, 11 yards a catch. Okay? Longest catch, 12 yards. Yeah. I'd say I want Fun and Gun back. I don't just pay Steve Spurrier $10 million to come back for 1 friggin' year. Yeah, let's just have some fun.
It's not like Miami played a prevent defense.
No, listen to this, though. Listen to this for passing.
Yeah.
Jaden Baugh caught 3 passes for 9 yards, averaged 3 yards a catch. Tony Livingston, a tight end, 1 catch, 8 yards. Eugene Wilson, this fast wide receiver that everybody's talked for 3 years about, 1 catch, 7 yards. And, of course, 2 carries and 3 yards. Michael Sturdivant, 1 catch, 5 yards. Jacoby Jackson, running back, 1 catch, 4 yards. Hayden Hanson, another one of those big tight ends, 2 big catches and 4 yards. Wow, 2 yards a catch. And TJ Abrams, who I'd never friggin' heard of, 1 catch for 2 yards. I mean, come on.
Well,
that is not going. This is not even an SEC game. You're not going to beat anybody with this kind of anemic garbage.
All right, and it wasn't. And to my point, Carson Beck didn't even have a touchdown, and he threw 1 interception, and he still threw almost triple the yards of Lagway.
17 of 30 for 160 yards. Barely 10, not even 10 yards of completion.
And yet it was still 26-7. And I looked at this game, and I think I was telling Dad texting, that Miami could wake up, and this could have been a 3-touchdown lead by halftime. It should have been a 3-touchdown lead by halftime, but for whatever reason, Miami's offense, their head just was not in the game early on. And then once they got up by just enough, I think they took their foot off the gas because they knew Florida couldn't do anything.
Yeah, but Florida tried to rally, but
that was Miami in man, like that was an anemic offense. Like if you played a top half SEC team, you probably would not have won that game as the way Miami played on Saturday. And yet Florida found every reason to let them get away with it every time. Every time. 26 is not a good number of points to put up on anyone.
No, and that's the thing.
On average, you would lose.
Florida
on average, you would lose that
Florida's
game.
Florida's defense has been viewed as done enough the last 2 games to win. And like I said, because LSU only got the one offensive touchdown. They got a field goal to make it 13-10. And the last, I think, second half was a pick 6 taken back for a touchdown. They gave up like 2 touchdowns in 2 games to USF and to LSU and lost. I mean, here they gave up, let's see, 1, 2, 3. They gave up 3 because 2 of the touchdowns were late in the game. But it's like one with 4 minutes left in the game, one with 2 minutes left in the game. I mean, this defense played hard. It gave this time.
They still only had 1 sack. They still only had 1 sack. And you know, they were definitely the better half of the football. Yes, that just without a doubt, they were the better half of the football team, but they put no pressure on Miami. That's what I was saying. Miami had all the time in the world to not fail. And if I were their coach, I would not be happy about this at all, because there were a lot of missed catches, a lot of right in the numbers missed catches that made Carson Beck look a lot worse than he really is. And this game should have been just, you know, right out of the park.
I got the next thing for my next show is about getting that, because it's ridiculous. But you know what? It's like you almost don't care anymore. You know, like they said with Star Wars and Star Wars fans and Trek and everything, it's apathy. That's what you don't want to happen is apathy.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, I was going to say the apathy is only going to increase week after week, and by the time you get to Halloween, Dead Man, you might not be watching the games.
Well, I'm not. I'll be flat out honest. I enjoy watching BYU football with this person and their family than I do a Gator game, or even Oregon State. I mean, I can accept it from Oregon State because they sucked many years ago and stuff like that, and they're a little team. This is a 3-time national title team from a big conference that should not be satisfying this crap. I said it last year. I bought the Kool-Aid this year. Yes, I agree. I bought the Kool-Aid on Billy Napier, and this year would be due because I bought the Kool-Aid. But I said last year that 5-game run of beating Ole Miss and LSU and those other teams was a smoke and mirror. It was a fluke. That was not the real Billy Napier or the real Florida Gators. You know, and it's like, and I should have listened with my instincts, and I didn't this year coming out. Now, make sure y'all hit the like button, folks. We got 13 of y'all still here with us. We'll love this. Feel free. Keep opining out there in the chat about stuff, and we will keep talking about it. Yeah, no Star Wars fans are hibernating. I don't know. That one's almost like dead to me, but that's a different story too. But Buddy said something too here, and we'll talk about this more other times. But yeah, there should be the disincentives for choosing the portal. You know, they need to get out of this team shopping, you know, and stuff like that. That's got to stop, you know, because it's ruining the quality of the game. Like in basketball, I'll tell you, one of the Gators' great defender players is now left school. Why would you leave a national title team? I mean, I don't know. And
what's really going to be detrimental is when they get to the NFL and they're used to all this shopping around and moving every year. And the NFL isn't going to play like that. And they're going to have a really rude awakening when they have to stay somewhere for 4 years if they're good. Because the team won't give them up and they've got the franchise.
How about if they get stuck on the Jaguars or the Colt or the
Browns
or the Panthers?
Or Cincinnati or the Jets. I mean, there's enough teams out there we can keep going. You know, it's some of the talk with this lately, and thanks folks for listening to some of my Gator Rampage because it's therapy for me, but it's like some of the local sports talk hosts went to Florida and stuff, and they're like,
Florida, we had some bad years. Muschamp lost to Georgia Southern, a 1AA team. They've had some big embarrassing moments. We've had Dan Mullen with Wilson throwing the LSU player's shoe 40 yards downfield in the game to lose a game. We've had crap and stuff like this, but a lot of them are agreeing. This school it's so bad it feels like the 0-10-1 year in 1979, which I remembered as a 9-year-old listening to the games every week with my dad. We'd listen faithfully, and I just back before they put any Gator games on TV because they blacked everything out. It just
these players are going to get in a
stuck.
fantasy football mindset where they want to be the best player on the most marginal teams. That way, their stats look the best. And, I hate it when people view a team sport like that.
Yeah, and the thing
really
is, too, well, the players, when the players do it, because what I'm also hearing talk coming out of Gainesville is the fact that there seems to be favoritism to the quarterback who's not producing, and yet it's starting to cause a wedge in the clubhouse. That he's being protected by the head coach. Why? What deal did he make with the parents and this?
Maybe
there's all
not.
that. Well, but the problem is that stuff where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something going on. When he can perform like that and not get benched in 4 games, he didn't look good against Long Island Ice-T either. That team should have had 70, 80 points against them. That school barely played football. And they still looked clunky. USF, they could never do anything. But like I said, I think everybody rested on last year's smoke and mirrors, the near win against Georgia, the near win against Tennessee, and then the winning streak I know I've drunk the Kool-Aid, so I'm responsible for. I wanted to go into one football season very positive. So I think, like I said, positivity would be becoming a BYU fan. I would become a Sparty fan, but I know you probably wouldn't step above Florida with that. So
I don't even know.
But okay. Well, anything else you got to say as an outside observer of the Florida Gators before I move on?
New AD, new head coach, and just move on. I would stop watching if they lose the next 2 weeks. If they lose one of those games, they're probably doubtful for the meaningless bowl that they could be eligible for. So,
but you know what? I could care less about bowl. Like last year, they played Tulane, big flipping deal. I don't want to play Tulane. That's like a step down. I want to play Ohio State or even let's say, let me play a TCU. Let me play a Colorado, somebody like that out of the bigger conferences. So, yeah. So
yep. Let's get rolling, shall we? Because we have all of our picks left.
We do. Oh, that's right. It's almost like though with the Gators, it's just. Let me do one thing real quick with them because you mentioned their schedule. I know they're off this week. Then after that, they host Texas. Oh man, we're going to talk about them in a second. They host Texas at Texas A&M. They host Mississippi State, which I don't think is a guaranteed win for them this year at home.
Yeah, but they're probably going to lose. They will lose to Texas, and then
they're going to lose at A&M. Yeah. And
they're going to lose both of those. So,
but listen to this: they play the 3rd-ranked team, the 4th-ranked team, the 10th-ranked team, and the 9th-ranked team in 4 weeks. Now, but the thing is okay. People are like, well, that's tough for anybody. Well, but JT, we're not just talking about a tough schedule. We're talking about incompetence and team issues.
Yeah, but that tough schedule, Ohio State would win all 4. Penn State would win 3 or 4.
Right. That's the difference.
Georgia would probably win all 4. So that's the difference.
Oh God! If BYU plays the Gators, would you guys root for BYU?
I would. I know Dadman couldn't bring himself to do it, but if she and her family were around, I would cheer with them. I would do that. Oh well, yeah, that's different.
Especially considering how bad we are. But yeah, I would.
But if it's just me and you, and we're like watching the game in our respective peninsula states, I'm picking one and you're picking the other. What we should
really do is I should probably do something privately and have a Gator game on, and I will go full dad man mode, and y'all can hear it live and just batten down hatches, hide the kids. But anyway, but then again, because that's a hard schedule. But like you said, the good teams win at least 2 of the 4, some 3 or all of them. That's what good teams. This team is not even competitive. Then they have 5th ranked Georgia, 13 Ole Miss, and Tennessee, 15th and 8th ranked Florida State. I mean, this schedule is horrendous. But I still say this season could be salvaged if you make a coaching change now. They're so up to, well, what do you do? Because last year he got lucky with getting some wins when he should have been fired. Get somebody in there that can kick some heads and stuff, and then maybe you might have a chance to save it. It's not over yet. They've only lost 1 conference game. There's still 7 other conference games. If you get the right talent, if you get the right coach, you could save the season, but they're going to sit and do nothing.
What you really got to do here is sit and think, okay, if I'm an interim athletic director or an interim president, I should make a really gutsy, risky coaching decision.
Oh, yeah.
What do I have to lose? And they'll be like, oh, well, we're just the interim. Yeah, you are. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to go ultra conservative on who they pick because they're the interim. And then the people coming in that you actually wanted, for the AD and the president are going to get stuck with somebody that you never would have picked because they were too conservative of a pick in the first place.
Right.
And then whatever pick they make is going to look too outlandish and wild. And it's like, oh, okay, now you done screwed yourself again. Would really, if you are all these interim people, make a crazy choice. Because at this point, you're going to be losing most of these games anyway.
Yeah,
see what you can see, roll the dice and see what you can get.
At least
the worst that can happen is somebody new will come in and try to go a little bit more conservative of a pick than you.
Right.
And everybody will be happy.
At least make the change to help the fans to enjoy and maybe save the season. You don't have to hire the permanent replacement. Just get somebody in there that's not this guy. Like, I'm serious. I am still serious. Tell Steve Spurrier $10 million, come out of retirement just 1 year. He doesn't have to recruit all this stuff. Just be the game manager on the side. Do your stuff, Steve, for 1 more year. Piss off Tennessee, piss off Georgia, everybody else, It's what I would love to see. I know it's desperation, but, desperate times call for desperate measures. And, yes, I would like to see long-term about doing something for Army Navy, Sam. That would be fun. So, Fallout Dave, I don't know. Dave, JT, can you figure out while I'm moving on what Dave's solution is?
Let's see if I can get there.
Wait, National Guard or Coast Guard?
National.
National Guard. So Army all the way. That's okay. Oh, that was you. Oh, sorry, JT.
That was me. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd go Navy just for the hell of it. But see, honestly, well, my wife's family are all Navy. My granddad, Navy. So,
okay, so you're
family
Navy.
ties would take me Navy. So
yeah, there you go.
But so folks, that's what's happening with the Gators. Let me just take a look, make sure there's not one other game left folks, if you're out in the chat, if there's a game that you wanted to talk a little bit or you wanted us to address, let me know before we move on, because we do have some other stories, not just our picks. We have some other stuff to talk about, some other college football news.
See, buddy would be Navy. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Army just lost to somebody horrendous, I think.
They'll
Army
be doing push-ups, don't worry.
Well,
PT'd like no other.
Well, like a couple weeks ago, Syracuse's coach, because they barely beat UConn, made them all run laps, wind sprints in the after the game, the win against UConn in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. This is because I'm trying to take. Okay, so I don't see any other games out there really, folks. We didn't really hit the stats like crazy tonight, but I like to keep the format fun and doing different things as we can. Army, I just want to pull them out. The Black Knights are 1-2. Oh yeah, they lost to Tarleton State. They lost to the Cigarettes. Tarleton State, who is not yet 1A, beat them 30-27. But then Army goes on the road and beats Kansas State. How about that? So, oh God, Navy and I think I know why. This would be a fun one. Get Army. It'll be better than a Florida FSU marriage together then. All right. So one of the other stories I want to talk about too before we get to our picks. we'll look at games for next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that up. The SEC is now announcing a 9-game football conference schedule to follow suit with other major conferences, including the ACC. As I've understood it, the SEC wants to expand to a 16-team playoff. The Big Ten has been fighting that. They want to keep it 12, a certain guaranteed from each conference. But one of the conditions of getting the Big Ten to buy into a 16-team college playoff tournament is that all conferences go to 9-game seasons. So it looks like that is where the move is going to. The problem, the debate for a couple years since Texas and Oklahoma were added to the conference, where how do you keep a lot of the natural rivalries, and I want to go ahead and I'm going to blow this up a little bit, and I'm going to show you what has been released as the official matchups. Some people can be happy. Some people may not be so happy. As a Gator fan, I was actually kind of happy, but we're going to take a look real quick at this as we go. Alabama draws Auburn, a natural rivalry, in-state rivalry. Mississippi State, Tennessee. That could be tough for Alabama, considering if Tennessee's good in certain years and Auburn's getting better. I still think watch Auburn against Alabama in the Iron Bowl this year. I called for Auburn to win that game, and from what I've seen, I see an Auburn team that could do that. Arkansas's got LSU, Missouri, and Texas. Boy, that's a
no chance.
I mean, that's like Sam Pittman, kiss your butt goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, and Missouri getting better though too. That's the other thing with that you got to figure out. Auburn's got Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt. That's a hard threesome there. I mean, Vanderbilt won't be like they are the last 2 years. They just can't.
Auburn might be the bottom of the barrel in that list,
because Bama will not go that far down for that long. Georgia with Kirby there will probably never go down. Vanderbilt just depends. Clark Lee will get hired somewhere else and be gone very quickly. Wow, we got 16 people watching. So 14 YouTube. Thank y'all. And you Chewy over on the Twitch. We love everybody over there too. We got Twitch. So like, subscribe, and all that, folks, because I'm going to pull a party at 7:50 again. Let's see. And then the Gators come in. Georgia, which is a natural rivalry for Florida. Kentucky and South Carolina. I'm unhappy that I lost Tennessee. But I lost Tennessee. I like making fun of the freaking inbreds, as I used to call them all the time. I was Tennessee inbreds.
This is a very generous.
Yes, it is. We see what happened in South Carolina. South Carolina was supposed to be good. It was a fake this year. But then again, Florida's got to get back to dominance where they don't lose to freaking Kentucky. They've been losing to Kentucky way too much in the last 10 years. But this is one that if they get right, this would make a pretty good manageable permanent rivalries. I just miss the Tennessee rivalry because of the hatred I developed for them. But then again, I can cheer for Rocky Top in good conscience because I've met a lot of great Tennessee fans over the months and years, and even watched some football games with a Tennessee fan once. But I hate to see it because it was a great hatred rivalry. I wish Tennessee would have stayed with Florida, not South Carolina. But then again, we'll see what Tennessee got in a minute. Georgia gets Auburn, Florida. That's a tough one, even though Georgia's really, dominant. Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. That's not the easiest.
Kind of rigged.
Teams.
They should be playing Alabama, not Auburn. But
no. The thing is, the Auburn Georgia rivalry goes back to the 1800s or to the early 1900s.
Okay, so Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina then.
Well, wait, they got to play Florida because Florida's a big rival. See,
okay,
Auburn and Florida.
Auburn, Florida, Alabama then.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
They're getting off too easy not having to play Alabama.
Yeah, well, Kentucky gets Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee. They get murdered right there. But see, why they got stuck with Florida, but Kentucky, Florida has been a rivalry, but still not like Tennessee. So, but Kentucky had to get Tennessee because Tennessee, Kentucky are hated rivals here. LSU has Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
Generous.
Very generous there. Very generous.
I think that's actually the most generous one yet.
Chewy, I'm curious if Chewy's still here on the Twitch side. What's your thought? Because I know he follows LSU. What, as an LSU fan, what do you think? How do you think if you're still around, what you have to say about these matchups, these three permanent, one
You
for
know,
your LSU team, and then like league wide. If you got any thoughts, go ahead,
that's
JT.
almost too generous because you're generally not going to play a ranked team any of those 3 weeks, maybe A&M. So that's not going to help you in the CFP ranking, playing
see,
3 teams that aren't going to
and,
have a number next to their name.
I tell you what, if Ole Miss loses Lane Kiffin to Florida, which was rumored last year, and which I know a lot of, he seems to be what most Florida fans want. Ole Miss will go back into mediocrity.
You think so? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's the one thing I would like to have with Lane Kiffin, because you need that Steve Spurrier type personality to get under everybody else's skins nowadays, and it does draw the better players. Now the thing is coaching those players is a different thing, because I'm not convinced Lane Kiffin is a great game coach, because he ends up losing like last year to Kentucky. He loses games he shouldn't be losing. But it's it's a part of the track record. But I would take him, because at least maybe he would score more than 7 points a game. Mississippi State, they're back into mediocrity.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Wait,
We just did LSU.
Yeah, because I kept reading. See, I'm the only one that writes Mississippi, and these idiots did it. Normally, I go. I'm looking for the O nowadays, but Mississippi, Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, Oklahoma.
Tough.
That's tough, yeah, because Oklahoma's getting better, especially if they have a quarterback. The problem has been offense in the last couple of seasons. Let's see, Mississippi State will always be tough, and I mean, they get stuck with Alabama, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt. But still, with them stuck with Alabama, Ole Miss is a natural in-state rivalry with the Egg Bowl.
Of course.
Folks, if you've never seen it, look up the Egg Bowl. Dog pee, yes. That was the game where the Ole Miss player caught the touchdown pass to pull within 1 and went in the end zone and peed like a dog on a fire hydrant, drawing a 15-yard penalty, and then they missed the extra point. You got to love it. Actually, I'm going to put that out on Twitter and tag a few people with that later today, because it's a great clip. Let's see, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Oh, wow, that's a nasty combination.
This feels like we didn't know what to do with all these other random teams in our conference, so let's just. Well, there's a
YouTuber that does the same thing. What the hell is Missouri doing in the SEC? They've been a bastard in the conference all since they never fit, but they needed a team to come in with Texas A&M. See, I never liked Texas A&M in the conference, but now with Texas and Oklahoma in there, it is what it is. But I think Missouri got a bad hose right there with that one. But it's funny, who the hell's drawn Texas? I've not seen anybody so far.
They will.
Okay, Oklahoma gets Ole Miss, Missouri, and Texas. So it's like they're keeping them over there in that geographical region. Yep. But we still get Kentucky. South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky. Hello, you didn't do us any favors.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. Tennessee gets see, now Tennessee's skirted, but they're I heard them talking about that on the radio today. They feel like that they deserve it, but they're going to have a Texas trip next year. But Alabama's their natural. Them and Kentucky are their natural rivals. And at Vanderbilt, I wish they would have friggin' put Florida in there instead of Kentucky. But I wish Corey Cochran was here too, is that
you got those border states up there in the north.
They hate each other so much. Of course, Tennessee hates Vanderbilt. You would think, who cares, because they're a fly on the wall in football. But Tennessee and Vanderbilt do not get along at all. Even if Vanderbilt sucks, they'll run it up 100-0 if they could. So I would say Tennessee kept their true natural rivalries in that. One of the few that readily kept. You can make a case Florida has some rivalry with Kentucky or South Carolina, but it's marginal. The best ones were against Auburn and Tennessee. So Texas gets Arkansas, Oklahoma, A&M. The old Southwest Conference reunites.
Yeah.
A&M gets LSU, Missouri, and Texas, and Vanderbilt gets Auburn, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. Wow. See, I wish Florida would have gotten Auburn as a natural rival. I would have permanent rival.
Vanderbilt got helped. They were helped with this.
Yep. Yes. So, boy, let's see. What boys? What did I do? What did I say?
I don't know.
Boys. Yes, I know you said yes. Florida rivals are.
I don't know what we did. We'll find out.
I don't know. What did I do wrong? Oh, that was a funny face, but I thought I was actually nice there. But unless I said old piss or something. But anyway, maybe. But it's my fun for the state of Mississippi. If you ever go through their state, don't use their rest areas. Yeah,
I won't, but I won't be going through their state for any reason I know of. So.
Oh my gosh! But hey, one thing we've learned though is that Fallout Dave and I might become BYU fans.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
All right, shall we get us to the next week? This week,
yep. We will actually. Yes, we will. Let me do a quick look at overall games around the country to see what we've got looking up this week.
Well, there wasn't much, and it was included in the list.
Yeah, when you previewed, what kind of games stood out to you that you recall, other than what's on our list? We got Florida State, Virginia on Friday night, which I hate Friday night football.
That one's on the list.
We got TCU at Arizona State on Friday night.
I didn't care about that one. I did not care about that one.
Well, Houston and Oregon State at 10:30, but I don't even care about that because they're going to lose again anyway. So
Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. I don't care that either.
No, he didn't actually. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He crawled on his all fours like a dog and lifted his leg like a dog. He didn't pee on the field. Well, just trust me. I wouldn't send you anything like that. It was so funny. He just crawled like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. That's all it was. No, he did not literally pee, but if I tag you, you don't have to look at it. It just it's one of the funny. It's hilarious. But you know what? It also shows
being his parents to be like, "That's my boy."
Well, he had to apologize for a whole year. He was very apologetic because when the kicker missed the extra point because they pushed him back 15 yards, he took it hit hard that he cost the team the game.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So it was a good learning moment there. So let's see. USC Illinois 21-23 on Fox at noon. Notre Dame's at Arkansas 12 o'clock on ABC. Just going through. Utah State plays at Vanderbilt 12:45. Let's see. Battle the Michigan's Eastern Michigan at Central Michigan at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ohio State at Washington, as Deeple 101 said, at 3:30 on CBS.
That's
Paramount.
on the list.
LSU number 4 at number 13 Ole Miss on
That's
ABC.
On the list. Yep.
Auburn at number 9 Texas A&M could be a very good game there, folks. Watch for that. ESPN at 3:30. A lot of games in the 3:30 window. 11 ranked Indiana at Iowa. Of course, it's buried.
Unfortunately, that's in the list.
And it's buried on the Peacock network.
Yep.
Let's see. Just take a look. Hawaii at Air Force. Tennessee at Mississippi State at 4:15. That could be an interesting game to watch. It really could be. Arizona at Iowa State and 14-ranked Cyclones at 7 o'clock. Oregon Penn State 7:30 NBC Peacock, number 6 versus number 3. 17th ranked Alabama plays in Athens at 5th ranked Georgia at 7:30. UMass, who we talked about being bad earlier, at 20th ranked Missouri. I'm like, where's Florida? Oh yeah, that's right. Florida's off this week for Buddy Hepburn. This is I'm really curious what Buddy Hepburn would think. Who are you taking this game? San Jose State at Stanford. I mean, that's Buddy. Yeah, that's one of Buddy's teams right there. So I got the bot over on Twitch. So I got to ban that real quick. So there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I was like, Buddy, which one would you take in that matchup between San Jose State at Stanford and of course Kentucky at South Carolina? Well, the way South Carolina's going, who knows? Kentucky could win that game. And the nightcap of the whole day for Sam Wolf, Number 25 ranked BYU is at Colorado. So there you
See,
go.
at least they're getting some mountain time playing.
Yeah.
So like local time, that's what, 8:15 start. Yeah. Anyway,
No, exactly. One thing I forgot real quick. I'm going to show this real quick. We're going to go through here before we get our picks. Wow, we hit 2 hours already. In the top 25, Ohio State leads at number 152 first place votes. The Miami, the U's up to second in the AP poll. Penn State.
I totally disagree with that after their bad game against Florida. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Penn State's third, but second in the other poll. Georgia's fifth in the AP, but third in the coaches. That's interesting. LSU's fourth in both. We'll focus on the God. Oklahoma has managed its way up to seventh now. Wow. And Florida State, after a 2-10 year last year, in the top 10. Don't tell me that can't be done. So I hope I didn't run you off with this image, Sam. But yeah, but it was one of those funny things. Buddy said Stanford in a close one. Okay, so Buddy's taking Stanford. Okay, I just was curious. A&M's another team that's had a bad couple of years, and then look, 3-0, top 10. Texas has fallen down to the 10th spot. Indiana, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Iowa State, Tennessee, Georgia Tech. I tell you what, I like this team. This is a team I could cheer for and get behind. So, yeah. Oh, the elevation. Oh, you talk about elevation. BYU up in Colorado. Okay. I know Colorado was really interesting when we visited there. We hit the 10th. We hit the high place. But I guess is Utah not nearly as high elevation as?
I don't believe so.
As Colorado, yeah, because I know Colorado's got those really tall mountains, but see, that's another thing.
In Salt Lake City, it's like 4,500 feet, and then Boulder is 5,400. They're 1,000 feet higher in elevation. It's not nothing.
Yeah. But see, that's a thing, like the NFL and all the other teams, that's a big worry when you go up to play in Colorado or Wyoming is the elevation. Like a lot of teams come down south, it's the heat and the humidity. So, but Georgia Tech is a team I like. I've seen him. I like Haynes King, the quarterback. The problem is, can he stay healthy? Because he's like Tebow, where he runs a lot, gets hit, and everything else. As his health goes, so does their team go. Alabama fell 3 spots this week. You should be happy with that.
Yes.
Vanderbilt is up 2 to 18. Michigan's up 2 to 19. Missouri at 20. USC went up 4 spots off of its win over Michigan State. 21. Notre Dame is still in the top 20 at 1 and 2. Illinois fell 14 spots.
Yep.
After getting trounced.
They were a fake team. And it just took a matter of time before they ran up against somebody else. Yeah,
exactly. Will be exposed, and Ohio State will then keep moving on unopposed. Because I tell you, I from what I've seen, I think Ohio State will destroy Michigan right now. But TCU enters the poll. So does BYU. Now BYU is in both polls at 24-25. I will say, if you get a chance to watch West Coast football, do watch that BYU team. It'll be especially interesting when they move into Big 12 action. They are a fun team to watch. They've got a quarterback that will run a lot, but last game he actually threw the ball a lot. So it's really it's a fun team to watch. They're well coached, and I'll tell you, that's the thing I think I like with have watched a team like that, or even Georgia Tech. These teams are more disciplined than like Florida. It's good to watch good football.
Now, Deadman, seeing as many weeks as we have right now, do you think any of these 11 through 20 ranked teams right now have any chance of breaking that top 10 realistically and staying there?
Tennessee.
That was the one I was going to say that had a chance.
If they can beat Alabama, because they nearly beat Georgia. They should have won that Georgia game. But if they can beat Alabama, I don't think that there's a lot standing in the way with their schedule going forward. And I'll be honest, I look at them kicking the crap out of Florida at the end of November.
Right.
in
The
Gainesville.
rest of these teams in the next 10 that are
Yeah.
outside of the top
No.
10, I
No,
don't see it with a single one of them
well,
outside of Tennessee.
no, but I will tell you, I will be honest. Looking at Missouri, I think it's a fake. They just haven't played enough hard competition yet. Michigan, if that quarterback's only going to throw for 100 yards like that, I don't see how he can go. Vanderbilt will come back to the pack like they did last year. They got hot and they barely made they limped into a bowl game, which I think is what they're going to do again this year. Georgia Tech will start falling apart at some point. Iowa State always loses. Ole Miss usually loses. The one dark horse I would think, and the two dark horses are at the bottom, TCU and BYU.
Yeah.
Because both of them come out of the Big 12. They both can score points. And I think they're under the radar in a lot of ways. Everybody's looking at
that's why I said 11 to 20. Because
Yeah.
I think 21 through 25 are interesting teams, except
Yes.
for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is done. Notre Dame with 2 losses, there's no way you can justify them. USC, Lincoln Riley will fall apart. Illinois is already falling apart, and but BYU, TCU, they're intriguing, especially TCU, because they are undefeated still, and that has surprised a lot of people. So,
well, look, with Notre Dame, if USC loses a game, they'll drop off the rankings, I predict, and then there's no one on Notre Dame's schedule that was ranked.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with Buddy Hepburn. I always love West Coast games. That's why I like staying up till 2:00 in the morning. I do like watching my West Coast football. They are underrated, and a lot of times you get a lot more points, a lot more offense in it than you do in a lot of the East Coast. And yeah, Sam's right about the BYU roster. They have a pair of brothers on the team that I believe transferred from Stanford, actually. And it is interesting to watch the two play together. So, oh God, Buddy Hepburn's.
Yeah, he's just about as pessimistic as I am with.
I know
that.
You and Buddy with that. So that, folks, is the top 25. Auburn is just outside at 122. Mississippi State at 102 votes. South Florida at 77. Utah at 45. Yes, I keep saying Utah. Just because it's something stupid I did because of a friend in high school.
Alabama's going to lose a whole bunch. They play Georgia,
I'm telling you, they're going to lose.
Tennessee.
Auburn is going to win.
Teams Auburn in a row.
Auburn is going to win the Iron Bowl this year. I called it in the preseason, and this Auburn team is not bad. They're talented. They've got some talent, and they've got a pretty damn good defense, so that can carry them. A lot of people like this Memphis team, though, who just beat Arkansas, but they're not in the top 25 yet.
Shall we stake a claim on some of these games?
Yes, we shall. Although I'd love a steak right now at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. And I did not look at your picks either, but hey, so as we did, JT picked the games for me. So if they're bad, they're bad. To thank JT for that. But
there's only 6 Big Ten games at all this week, folks. So like the choices were pretty slim.
And we had to put 1 Big Ten and 2 SEC games into the national game category to get our 15 picks. So I've got to update by the way, I've got to update our standings after the last time. Sorry about that, but I'll have to. We'll have that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real test, Buddy said, is when the remaining zeros start to go. So let's look at it. First game, Ohio State, Washington. To me, this is no question. I mean, even if it's a road game, Washington is not what they were in the Pac-10.
Yep.
Or Pac-12. They're not. So
this would be a nice road win for Ohio State.
Yeah, but it will not be relegated to practice game status. It's actually, you are playing a bigger school that's got some talent, but I just that's how dominant Ohio State has become. And they're an example of a team that has used the transfer portal and the NIL very effectively. I mean, they're getting the best players in there, and it's part of the system, and they're doing it. Hey, B from O Jr., good to see you. How are you? We were just talking a little bit about your Auburn Tigers a little bit earlier. Unless you rebel against your dad and cheer for Alabama secretly, but then if that's the case, your secret's safe with us. Good to see you tonight, dude. Hope you're doing well. Next game, USC Illinois. We differ. I'm taking Illinois at home. I do like them more than you do, but why do you have faith? See, I don't like Lincoln Riley. I think that he's been an overrated coach and he left Oklahoma going for the Pac-12, thinking that it was going to be easy, and then he got sucked into the Big Ten. But I don't like Brett Bielema either in Illinois. I think last week showed a lot, but it's still at home. I'm going with home team in this one. But what do you got for USC?
I think USC has managed to stay pretty healthy for the most part, and I think they're maybe a better team than what people expect. They also were going to an Illinois team that took a bad loss to Indiana, and USC has I think the advantage of, I don't know if these teams have ever played each other actually, but I think they have an unknown commodity feeling to them.
If they ever did, it would had to probably be at a Rose Bowl sometime.
Yeah. So years and years and years and years ago, because Illinois has not been good since I've been alive, I think. So I think they were a fake team that Illinois exposed them. I think Indiana exposed them, and I think Indiana was kind of a fake team. That is great at beating up on everybody, but the ones who need to win to take it all. So this one, look, it's going to probably be a 7-point game, but I had to pick USC.
Yeah, I get you. I'm actually looking that up real quick. We got matchups. Let's see. Actually, I forgot about this website, Winspedia, that actually has this type of stuff. Illinois and USC have met 13 times.
Oh, really? When was the last meetup, though?
Well, let me do this. Let me show this little graphic.
Okay.
Introduce you to people. Hey, Alaska Jeff, how are you? So good to see you. You went to UAB? That's okay. UAB is a good school. They used to be in the conference. Alaska Jeff, how are you doing? Crap. My computer is slow.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Well, anyway.
There we go.
So, all right. Here we go. So they got down here. This is what really cool, because see what they do is you bring up the matchup here, and you can actually drill in with.
Yeah.
Come on, computer.
2007 was the last time.
Yeah, from 96 to 2007. That's when they played. Let's see. Come on. A full matchup page. It might help if you click on the link. So, but this is what I love with it. It shows you the breakdown and the head-to-head results. See, this is how it's spread out. Oh, they changed this a little bit. Because the larger margin of victory for Illinois is 19 points, won in 1935. And USC won 55-3 in 1996.
So Illinois has not won this matchup in 30 years.
That's what it looks like. I like with this one. 1989, they won in Los Angeles 14-13.
Okay, so like 35 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They last played in 2008 in Pasadena. That was the Rose Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And USC won easily with that one. Hey, Sasha, yay sports. Now you have to get back to your edging eyeglasses. So, all right. Let's see.
Anyway.
Oh, B from O played trumpet. Oh, switch to baritone. Oh, cool. Well, good to see you, Jeff, too. Yep. All right. All right. So anyway, sorry. Since we asked, I took that detour. Sorry about that, because it's.
Yeah.
I love this website because it answers those questions very easily.
So that's why I went USC. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay. On to the next one.
We got Indiana, Iowa. In this game, we both take Indiana.
I get a bad feeling about this one.
You think Iowa's defense might be able to slow Indiana down?
I think Indiana might choke. They shouldn't, but I think they might. I just have a really, really bad feeling about this one.
Well, it'd save Kirk Ferentz's job. Would be definitely something of interest. All right, Rutgers at Minnesota. We're both on this one, on Minnesota. Any particular reason why?
Rutgers stinks. Minnesota isn't great, but I think they know how to beat a team at home that isn't any good.
Well, you know what they called them in the bottom 10 years ago? When they were really, really bad, they were called Minnehaha. Okay.
See it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, Sam, you Notre Dame's had a bad year this year. They've been actually pretty good in the last couple of years. They were actually in the playoffs last year. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. I remember they used to year be so dominant, and I remember Catholics versus convicts. That was great in the late 80s with Jimmy Johnson and Lou Holtz and them. It was like, but see, and I do like this. These are great things about when teams can build camaraderie, to do stuff like that, team activities, so that is really cool. Okay. You're taking Nico. I'm going to leave you, and I'm going with the Wildcats of Northwestern. Any particular
Other way around.
Oh, how did
you're taking
Damn.
and I'm taking Northwestern.
Well, what the hell was I thinking when I took that? But
I don't know. I mean, this was like, do I even care?
No,
obviously
I didn't care.
5 games in the Big Ten, so
apparently I didn't care. But UCLA can't keep losing. But then again, Northwestern is at home. They've actually at least not lost some games as bad as they have, but there is chance. But see, the UCLA just been pathetic, anemic on offense after bringing in this guy from Tennessee to save everything, and just. But I got a feeling UCLA will pull it off this week. Why? Well,
it's 3:30 p.m., so they didn't start the game at noon to screw over the UCLA fans.
Yeah. No, exactly.
They put it on the Big Ten network, so who knows if anyone in California gets that to watch.
I don't even have the Big Ten network, and I got a lot of stuff. So,
right.
Well, we're going to move into the SEC games. We got Auburn versus Texas A&M. Any particular reason why you went A&M?
Auburn on the road. Didn't like it, and Texas A&M is hot right now.
Yeah,
I didn't dive too deep into this one. It was more of just a cursory look, not a strong opinion.
But see, from watching both of these teams, that's how I felt. I like Auburn. I like Auburn this year. I really, really do. But I don't know that. I mean, this Texas A&M team is better than it's been in the last year or two, and it's led by its defense. And Auburn can score some points, but then again, those have been against some questionable defenses. They only got 17 against Oklahoma. I don't trust Jackson Arnold. He's better than what they've had at quarterback for a long time, but he still can't until he learns how to throw the ball and lead by doing more than just running. It limits Auburn. So I mean, I think this is a safe, good call to take A&M at home on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, we got 15th ranked Tennessee at Mississippi State. We're both going with the Volunteers.
I've seen Mississippi State play earlier in the year. They seemed like they might have had a better team if only they could have been more organized and had some better execution. And I didn't see that improve throughout the year. While Tennessee, I think, is a great football team that just needs to get a couple more things right in execution, and they'll be a darn near unstoppable force. So,
well, one thing I've heard,
the
Tennessee talking heads are a little bit worried about this game because they especially Mississippi State's defense to them had looked good, and especially against Arizona State. They're measuring a lot against Arizona State. But that being said, I've seen so many games like this in SEC where the team goes in 3-0, 4-0, looks good. I mean, and give them credit for beating Arizona State, a top team in the Big 12. But this game is in Starkville. They will have the cowbell. So, folks, if you ever want more cowbell, you can go get it in Starkville, Mississippi. And, yes, they actually talked about that on Tennessee radio, that yes, they got grandfathered in for noisemakers, because you can't have them in the other stadiums, but they are pleased with when they can do it. They have to stop before a play. Actually Tennessee radio people were like, they're very respectful. They stick to the rules on the cowbell.
I wish I got this on my TV. It's on the SEC network at 4:15. Unfortunately,
one day maybe we can work out somewhere we can watch a game, because I figured out how I can show it through StreamYard or through even a Cosby Room.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whether I want to do full watch parties, right now I'm just sticking with private views. But yeah, it's, we can always do something one day. Notre Dame, Arkansas. This is a game I kind of struggle with, though, honestly. Arkansas looked offensively good against Memphis. But this is one of those games, I hate Notre Dame so much, but they're going to win it because they're Notre Dame. It's like guys, we talked about how Illinois or Indiana against Ohio State. That's kind of how I feel like Arkansas against Notre Dame. Then until they beat them, then Arkansas couldn't beat Memphis.
I have no respect for either one of these teams, and I have a thing against Notre Dame. So,
no, I know, I got you.
And it's a home game for Arkansas. Are my hopes high? No, but I was like, I know Dad Man's probably going to pick Notre Dame, and we got to have some differentiation.
It's not because I want to, I want to, but it's just I put so many times of teams to beat Notre Dame or whoever or whatever, and they never do.
They never do,
and it's like that's like Old Piss. Mississippi last year was like, it's like Kiffin with all that crap. It's like until he wins a game, I won't trust him. Now, he did beat Georgia, but he's also the same guy that lost at home to Kentucky. Like, how do you explain that? I don't get it, and because every time when I do stuff, it burns me. But, oh, God, buddy. No, you have a thing against Notre Dame, JT Kirk? For reals. But,
look, okay, there was a game when we still had John L. Smith, or as I call Face Slappy, my freshman year of college, and we had ESPN Game Day and all this stuff. Notre Dame coming into East Lansing. We had the 7 p.m. start, and they had the camera on a helicopter back then because they didn't really have all the drawstring cameras and all this stuff, the drones and all that they do now, right? So I saw them up like 28-7 at halftime, and the whole game was raining, like downpour the whole time. I got the last ticket in the student section to the lower bowl, meaning we were going to be under the upper deck and dry the whole time. And my roommate, my best friend, got the first ticket to the upper bowl.
Oh no!
So we go up to the upper bowl and are just getting drenched. And then Michigan State loses the game after blowing a 21-point lead at halftime.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got to think against.
That's painful. That's painful. Y'all still have but still, y'all still have a great example of how you win a game, like when it happened to Michigan that year when the guy muffed the snap on the punt and Michigan State got it.
That's one of the top 10 most legendary final game.
Yeah, and we got chicken arm. We got chicken arm. JT, we've been going over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and we got 17 people watching us. Can you believe that?
Look who walked in the door.
Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Damn it. Oh, it said Dad Man and JT. Hello, Lisa. Talking sports tonight. Great to see you. Folks, make sure you crash that like button and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed if you haven't, because things are way weird. But great to see you, Lisa, tonight. Yes, Sam, we're going to have to do something for Army, Navy, and Parker Curry. That's a name I've not seen here before, but welcome in. We did talk about Mike Gundy earlier. I think he had Judge Mike Gundy over the course of his career, though, because I really liked him in a lot of ways. You had to respect the good years when they were winning, and they were always a threat against Oklahoma and Texas. But I did, like we showed yesterday was 18th anniversary of "I'm a Man, I'm 40" that clip, and I think there were things he did off the field that generated a lot of respect, and he I think was a good coach. But as we've talked about, the program has fallen off in recent years. College football is changing. And as I've understood it, he's not been one to change with the NIL, the transfer portals, kind of like Dabo Swinney at Clemson. That's one of the complaints about him that a lot of the boosters and stuff are having, is that he's trying to do it still all old school. Billy Napier did that this year with like 5 transfers and little portal, and then you can pay some guy quarterback $4 million to just like run in circles. Sorry, I'm a Gator fan and really jaded right now, but to the point about the coach, it's a different age of college football, and some coaches like Mike Gundy and Billy Napier's young. You would think he would change or want to, but these coaches get hard headed. But like Mike Gundy, Dabo Swinney, and a lot of people said that's why Nick Saban retired, was because of the coming new move of college football, where it's evened out, because before the joke was all the SEC paid their players no matter what, card jobs and all this other stuff under the table. But now that it's out in the open, and you got Ohio State with the highest payroll in college football, SEC's lost a lot of its advantages. And coaches, if you don't adjust to that new normal, you can fall behind. But the short answer, I like Mike Gundy as a coach. I hate the way his career ended, though, at Oklahoma State, considering he had been there for 35 years out of 58 years he'd lived. And, he gave his heart to the program and had so many good years. You hate to see him go out like that. But I do respect him, especially after he defended his player that time 18 years ago. So, JT, any thoughts on that?
I think you said it all.
Yeah. Brent Pry. Now, he's the guy that just got fired at Virginia Tech. Now, I don't know much about Brent Pry. I don't follow the ACC that closely, but yeah, I'm not sure with Brent Pry, but all I know is I've seen more than enough of Billy Napier at the University of Florida. I've seen 4 years of that, so nothing to see. Move on. Oh God, really, Lisa? Hello, Cool J. Yeah. Oh, I can just tell. All right, so do we finish what we want to say on Notre Dame, Arkansas?
Oh yeah. All right,
I want to
forget about them.
Yeah, we got Utah State, Vanderbilt. Hard to believe 18 ranked Vanderbilt. It's hard to believe Vanderbilt's 4-0, Miss State's 3-0, and Florida is like 1-3. It's just like, what's wrong with the universe?
I think we might get an upset here. This might be the week that Vanderbilt falls apart. But Utah State had Texas A&M as their ranked big opponent for the year, and then they have Vanderbilt as their other big ranked opponent for the year. No offense on San Jose State, I think this might be their last big major game of the year in that kind of respect. I'm not talking about any potential rivalries down the schedule. So Utah State might come out with everything, guns ablazing on this, and we might be very, very wrong here.
Well, I think Vanderbilt will take care of business, but then again, the same Vanderbilt team that lost at home to Georgia State last year, and they barely made the bowl games. That loss could have held them out of the bowl games last year. But so yeah, you're right. Vanderbilt, Utah State has actually played some teams very tough over the years, and I still think Vanderbilt's going to do it. I mean, I think Vanderbilt's. I will say Vanderbilt. The tires will fall off Vanderbilt this year. They will end up at 7-5, or maybe 8-4, because it always happens with them. But not this week. So I think that they go ahead and win. So one game that I do think could be an upset, this Kentucky-South Carolina game. Considering South Carolina has lost 2 in a row, including one against Vanderbilt, even Kentucky can get lucky. Ask Florida over the years. Kentucky's been a pain in Florida's butt for years.
But they're going to Charleston, right?
So Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I knew that. I've been to USC. So
yeah, I've been through Columbia. We found a hot dog place in Irmo. It was really good. But I think that I just this would have to be a game that South Carolina doesn't score 20 points. It's going to have to be an ugly Kentucky type football game for Kentucky to win it. They still don't really produce much on offense. Yeah. Quarterback play is scattered. You feel for Mark Stoops, a really good guy, really good coach, winning his coach in Kentucky history. He passed Bear Bryant, again, beating Florida a couple years ago. But because I tell you what, if Shane Beamer loses this game, you think they're going to turn the hot seat up on him immediately this year. because they're going to forget what happened last year. They're going to want him fired now. I'm telling you, because he was on the hot seat before last year's resurgence and before this year's high ranking, having lost 2 in a row and fallen out of top 25, especially losing to a team as inadequate as Kentucky at home. Imagine losing to Vanderbilt and Kentucky at home in the same year. Not that I think it will happen, but I don't know. Dumber things have happened. That's why they always play the game as a conference game. All right. Let's see. I'll get to the question about James Franklin in a minute. But yeah, Buddy said we are ACC West Coast. Yeah, you are. Exactly. The Stanford and Cal and all that is so freaky having. I mean, it's bad enough with the Big Ten from Pacific Ocean to Atlantic Ocean, and at least you're connected across the country. ACC is disconnected in the middle. So, all right. National games. These are big ones here. Florida State is on the road at Virginia and Charlottesville. Virginia has been better this year than by their standards, but yeah, I still look at FSU. This could be a dangerous game in Virginia, but I don't know. Gus, I don't like Mike Norvell at Florida State. I really don't. I've never have. But his bringing in Gus Malzahn as offensive coordinator has really righted that ship. Plus, also the transfer Thomas Castellanos from Boston College, who actually led the upset last year for BC at Florida State. So, I mean, I still got Florida State winning this game. JT, any thoughts here?
No. I think you summarized it well.
Yeah.
This was an easy pick for me. It was. And at this point, folks, the national games, it's like, okay, well, what's the biggest deal?
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of a scrape.
Because if we had not put the SEC and Big Ten games in these, we would have had maybe 10 games overall. 13.
I bet best. Yeah.
We've got 17th ranked Alabama at number 5 Georgia in Athens. We both have Georgia in this game. What are your thoughts? Hey, Sam, thanks for coming, hanging out so long. You take care. Hi to the husband and the kids, and you'll see the. It's not a bad play. I will tell you. You'll laugh at it when it's over. But hey, you take care and have a good night. All right, go ahead, JT.
This is what the biggest rivalry in recent memory in the SEC. Possibly. Question mark?
Well, not necessarily the biggest, but probably the most at stake. We've had several SEC championship games. We had a national title game, but yeah,
it used to be that everything in the SEC went through this game, and so one, I was surprised this game was actually so early on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
2, I don't think Alabama can go into Georgia and win right now. I would put the number of teams that could go into Georgia and win right now to maybe 3.
Yeah.
And that list gets even shorter when I think they have a good chance at winning.
Well, if you include Texas on that, don't forget we got the bad performances by Arch Manning.
Right. So this game should be Georgia's. It's theirs to lose. And I'm not just saying that because I'm looking at numbers here. I really think Alabama, they were in that 11 to 20th ranked group of fallacies or fake teams where I thought Tennessee had the good chance. I see Alabama losing this game and then people coming along saying, oh, but we shouldn't lower them past 18th because Georgia was such a good team to lose to. It's not really a loss. They only lost by 17. We should keep them in the national CFP contention bracket. Some scenario. This is how I'm seeing the future.
But see, I tell you, I'm not so cynical about the reactions about Bama as maybe you and Buddy are, because there are problems in Tuscaloosa. I mean, there really are big long-term problems structure-wise. The team is not playing like it has under Saban. They're not the vaunted teams that they were. Discipline issues on the field. So, if they lose this game, they probably will drop out of the top 25 completely. And there's no making it back this year. And I tell you, I do think there's Alabama fatigue. I do think the pollsters do get that way over time. And this would be the year, especially before Saban gave them reasons to keep them up there. Now, I don't think they have the coaching staff. They don't have the personnel to give the media or the pollsters the ammunition to excuse those type of rankings. But we shall see. I agree with Georgia in town. If you've never been to Athens, you should go. It's a beautiful town. It's a wonderful place. But yeah, Georgia should win this game. I think not easily, but I don't think Bama's going to push them. I'm not a fan of Ty Simpson at quarterback and things like that. And let me say hello to Curtis Meadows. I'll get to that question in just a minute because I also got one from Parker Curry to get back to real quick. We want to finish up our games and then we'll wrap up with those questions. LSU at Ole Miss. Well, actually, we'll go ahead and take it. I'll take this question as we take this one. Then I will say that because right leading in that game, I've got LSU on the road. You got Ole Miss at home. What's your thoughts on this one, JT?
Oh, geez. This is when I knew you were going to take LSU, and I wanted some differentiation to have some excitement.
Yeah.
I think once you get into this category, LSU has had some slow movement to get ahead in games. Maybe that's more my thinking than reality, but I've just seen LSU maybe not take a 90-0 win on some teams like they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives Ole Miss a chance. And Ole Miss at 13 is not something to sneeze at.
Right.
Granted, they're not in that real team thing. But I thought, if I take LSU, this is going to be a game that I come into next week looking really silly.
Well,
or being upset.
I was leaning. This was a hard game for me because Ole Miss is at home. I will say that they beat Georgia at home. Although they lost to Kentucky at home, LSU's had way too many struggles and stuff. But the thing is, LSU's defense is much improved this year over prior years. And Nussmeier can throw the ball. He can, if he can cut down the turnovers. If LSU can get a little more in the running department, they can actually develop their offense better. LSU's one of those teams, the defense is carrying them. A very good defense.
Now, to answer Curtis's question here.
Yeah.
I would see Ole Miss move up and LSU move down. The silly thing about the polls and where they sit is LSU could be like an 8 or a 9, and Ole Miss will move up to like 11.
Yes,
or 10, how they just beat them. How could you still rank them 3 above? And that'll be the way that it is.
It depends how the game goes. I think if it's a close, even game, it could work like that. Now, if Ole Miss wins convincingly, then they should put Ole Miss over LSU. But then again, LSU, how much is name recognition like with Alabama or your Brian Smelly, your guy? Sometimes sometimes he gets the votes like Notre Dame and Alabama get. So, but yeah, it just depends. I think if any were the team that wins should be ranked above the other one, at least theoretically, I think is what should happen. Now, whether it happens, we don't know. So, all righty. So let's see with that one. Also, folks, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We do more than just sports on Tuesday nights. Tomorrow night, I'll be live with Wes Cagle at 8 o'clock with just to kind of talk, Go West Dad Band. And then Thursday night, I'm planning on a squirrel stream earlier in the evening, getting some friends together to just talk and hit news articles and do some fun, silly stuff. So, come by, hang out with us as we do stuff throughout the week. And I'll put my links out there later. Okay, Oregon and Penn State, the matchup of the week in the Big Ten. Oh, by the way, some people were very, very mad that Alabama, Georgia didn't get game day, that it was the Oregon-Penn State game.
Cry about it. You got your Pac team against your Big Ten team. And the numbers are higher ranked. So, you've got 2 TV markets against 1.
Yeah. No, I this should be the matchup nationally. As much as, and plus it's West Coast and East Coast. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not regional as Alabama and Georgia are. Now, if Alabama was like 1 or 3, then I would say, yeah, I'd put the SEC matchup over the Big Ten. But then again, I'm a big SEC snob, and that's the way it
Well, but
goes.
still, Penn State and Oregon, even
Yeah.
then, you
Yeah.
still.
But I will tell you what, this game here, and let's go back to I'll take.
To me, there's more at stake in this game.
Yeah.
To see who's going to move into number 2 in the Big Ten.
I'm glad I started this I hope you're still around, Parker Curry, because I was waiting. We'll have covered because I'm going to use this to talk about this right here. I like James Franklin did a great job when he was at Vanderbilt. I mean, Clark Lee's done a great job. If you can go into Vanderbilt and the SEC and have a winning record, you're a good coach. You've done something and you deserve success and stuff. But that being said, I don't like James Franklin as an in-game coach. I think he makes wrong decisions, bad clock management, goes for it at the wrong times. You and I have talked about that, JT, and some of the games we watched where he played Ohio State or Michigan, and it's like, what are you doing? And again, Penn State is another one of those teams. I don't believe in them until they win it, and they actually beat an Ohio State, a Michigan, or in this case, Oregon. Even though Oregon's on the road, the history of Oregon and with their coaching staff, I mean, the ability to play on the road as well as at home. That's why I'm going with Oregon in this, not Penn State, because I like James Franklin as a coach. I respect him. When I take him in Gainesville, you're damn right I would in a heartbeat, because he's much better than what we got. But I do say that I would say that I would take him in a heartbeat. I got Oregon. JT, what do you think?
Penn State.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any particular reason? Okay, Jeff, take care, dude.
Sorry. Penn State. It's an at-home game in Happy Valley. I think Penn State's number 3 for a reason. And look, I've seen Michigan State beat Oregon when Oregon was supposed to be all that. So
okay.
But this is going to be a good game. I think this is the game of the week to watch easily. You could argue it for Oregon all day, and I might change my mind. This is a matchup of 2 very, very capable teams that don't make a lot of mistakes against the inferior teams, don't make mistakes against good teams, or make very few. So you'll see them probably make mistakes they don't here. But I think you'll see some stars that'll be in the NFL make some cool moves here in this game. Do I like Penn State? Hell no. But I'll go with Wes Cagle on this one, and I'll pick Penn State.
Huh. Wow. Oh, wow. Holy crap. I don't usually do a lot of breaking news stuff, but I've confirmed this online. At ex-Appalachian State, Sean Clark, coach, passed away at 50. Yeah. So, man, that's always sad when people pass and stuff, and every day is precious, and there's been so much loss of life and people passing these days and all. It's just always very sad. A sports world or, not. But okay, last game, and unfortunately Sam left. We outlasted her. But 25th ranked BYU is on the road at Boulder at Colorado. We better take BYU. I've seen BYU play. I've seen Colorado play. I'm not convinced Deion's got a good quarterback in Colorado this year. BYU does, and this to me is an easy pick with BYU, even though it's on the road. What do you think?
BYU all day, but I think we're BYU slappies on this. Super fans, if you will, on this. Well, we're maybe not super fans. That's we'll leave that for Sam in co. But I think we've both moved into the BYU fan category. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's nice, and it's like I said, it's refreshing to watch good football. That's
well, in for the last 2 weeks, I've been saying this team has been underrated. So I think they're going to do well this week. I hope they do. Anyway, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win.
No, not at all. But you never know. That's why they play the game. I always say that's why they play the game, and you never know. This goes in the conference schedule in the Big 12 game, which was funny because these two teams didn't play. These two teams did not play at all in the regular season last year in the Big 12, and they did not meet in the championship game. But they got paired up together in a bowl game. And something I've never seen before, where two teams from the same conference were put in the same bowl game. That is rare to see, if ever, But and then BYU, I believe, I can't remember BYU Colorado won that. But, how about that? How about a team in your own conference you don't even play and then you see them in a bowl game somewhere?
Yeah. That's always fun. I mean, potentially, right?
The closest thing I've ever seen was when Florida in 1996, when Spurrier and Danny Werfel and them, the Gators got the rematch against Florida State. It wasn't a conference game, but it was a rivalry game. FSU won it in the regular season in Tallahassee. You had 1 versus 4, and the matchup worked to where Florida, got that rematch in the bowl game and ended up winning that national championship. So, Oh man, listen, Curtis, I've learned to never question what Lane Kiffin might do. Lane Kiffin. Well, I don't know if he becomes the Gator head coach. I'll have to give him a little more respect. So but yeah, because I tell you, I currently I want him to I'd take him in Gainesville. He's the leading candidate with a lot of Gator fans right now. But there are some questions whether he would leave Oxford, Mississippi. So, but you never know. We'll see what happens. But until Florida pulls the trigger on that, we do not know. So, well, we got to wrap up. Huh? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, who else would you want to pick? But that could be a whole long conversation about
John Gruden. John Gruden, his name has been rumored for the Florida job, and is now coming up for other jobs in college. So now, people associate with the Belichick experiment, but I think it's a lot different. Gruden doesn't have a 26-year-old following him around the sideline and at practice. So,
well, Dad, man, Urban Meyer might be getting a little bored of doing commentary on Fox.
You know what scared the crap out of me is I saw a commercial off of a Gainesville podcast.
Okay.
With a former Gainesville Sun reporter. He's independent now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Spurrier for one segment, but one of the commercials has for Spurrier's restaurant. And damn it, if Urban Meyer's not sitting there live by Steve Spurrier filming the commercial.
Oh man. I was just joking.
No, he is around in Florida still, even after the Jaguars failed experiment.
Mm-hmm. You just can't get rid of him. You just can't get rid of him. That's the problem.
I will say this. I feel dirty. I would say I'd hire him back. That's how desperate it is. I got to go take a shower now. He left Florida, went to Ohio State and blamed Florida, said don't send your kids to Florida because of the culture. Dude, you created the culture there.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
then you go to Jacksonville, the NFL, and you're the one partying out in the clubs at night. Just geez, but
well, he complains about culture, then he goes to the Ohio State. Come on.
No.
I got stories, but we don't have time for it.
No, it's amazing how he could not make a 20-year career out of Ohio State. Because to me, Ohio State would be a career like Saban went to Alabama and retired. That seems like to me what he would have done and should have been happy with at Ohio State. But he just left. But anyway, it's okay. But I was one of the ones though that said when he retired the first time at Florida because of getting his ass kicked by Nick Saban, I'm like, let him go. I don't beg him back. And they did. They begged him back the next year, and he turned it over to Greg Adazio, which was just a waste of a season.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. All right, folks. Well, we've got to get out of here. We were almost 3 hours for this stream.
And we thought it was going to be a short one because they're like, I don't know.
Yeah. He did. Meyer had a lot of success at Florida. He brought in the 2 national titles. You know, he did. He had a lot of success here. But if you go back and look at the history afterwards, ESPN did a show. Look, there was rife with player discipline issues and all arrests and all kinds of other stuff. It depends what you want. And the biggest thing is some of the he didn't really fit in Gainesville either. He wouldn't do the tours and all this other stuff. And it was an odd fit, but yeah, he did have success. And like I said, there's so much bad that came with the good. It's almost, do you want to go back to it? But yeah, I think at this point, nobody's been able to. He's been the only coach that's been able to replace Steve Spurrier, and that should say a lot. So, yeah. I don't get to watch Missouri enough. I know a lot of people talk about Eli Drinkwitz. That's another name rumored for the Florida job too. Eli, he's another coach that was on a hot seat a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden they turned it around in Missouri and really have done well for themselves. And you know, so it shows you be patient with coaches sometimes, but you know, at some point the patience has to end. Like us, we have to end tonight. JT's got to go to bed. Lots of the questions we can even hit again on other streams like next Tuesday. But hey, folks, make sure before you leave, make sure you've hit that like button for us and subscribe if you haven't, because it helps. We're going to do a 750 celebration when we hit that mark. But for now, tomorrow night, we're going to be hanging out with our friend Wes Cagle tomorrow night. Go West Dadman at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. It's one of our new shows that is set up. Of course, on we've actually renamed this because on Thursday I'm planning a show at 8 o'clock, late night with Dadman. But Fruitcake Supporter Parties, there's a story about it. But it's somewhere. So maybe if we get some of our European friends, it will be late. Although where we're ending right now is late night. So technically we can start early and go into late night. But this is just a random stream with a lot of crap and a lot of chaos with it. Of course, on Mondays, I'm Fortnite with Jess, and we had a great stream last night. Again, as always, and of course, let's see. Here we go. Let's see. I do like seeing
you have Jess on here, so that way you can win more.
Exactly.
She's the talent. She's the talent in the outfit.
I do. Buddy said we may end up with Dan Lanning, Jed Fitt. I'll take either 3 of them, and I'll even take the F. You know, a name that I came up with the other day that horrified me? Jimbo Fisher.
Oh no.
No, that's how desperate I am at this point. And Sam Pittman, I think, is a good coach, but I don't know that he can survive in the SEC. But my wife, Mrs. Dadman, if Buddy or somebody can put Mrs. Link out there for me real quick. Tomorrow, on Mondays and Tuesdays, they are doing, her and Atwood are watching 13 horror movies she's never watched. You should have heard her screaming and laughing tonight about the Halloween movies. That was really fun listening from this other part of the house, hearing the laughter and the commentary. But they're doing these for the next few weeks leading up to Halloween. So join her if you like horror movies and stuff. It's really, really, really good. So, let's see, Curtis, for this show, we start at 9 o'clock Eastern. A lot of our other shows start at 8. Sometimes they start later. It just depends. A lot of what I do is very random. But definitely with sports, with JT, we have to set it for 9 o'clock, and that's where we go. So, yes. Okay, another show, because our first one was last Friday night, Get Over It. Probably like me and Billy Napier. But, hey, my friend Anna's Game Land, we do this little show here. Join us for that. Next one we think will be October 2nd, but I just put this in here to say it's out there. And if you've not seen our first show, go back, check out the channel, watch it with a lot of fun with that, with Anna and all. It was a blast of fun with that. And yes, that's the Mrs. Channel link. Go check her out. She streams tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Daily Dose of Positivity, a morning show. Just a lot of happiness and a lot of fun. And she does a lot of painting, drill painting now, and other things that she's got, and some Fortnite. But that's where you go to check out the movies on Monday and Tuesday night, the horror movies for Halloween that she's never seen before. All right, JT, I think that is about it. Any last thoughts?
Well, tomorrow I'll be hanging out with Dave C. Doing some more comics, reading Spectre from 1967. So hope to all see you there if you're not already over here. So
Right.
and
Yeah,
that'll
because
do
they
it.
start y'all start at 9, right?
At 9, yes. We start
Okay,
at 9.
so Wes and I start at 8. We'll probably be done by 10. So of course we'll
Oh,
probably
yeah.
end up.
We'll be going for a
passing
while
dinner.
after you're done too.
Yeah, you guys
Passing
love
the
your
hallway.
you guys love your comics and you know your
Yeah.
stuff. So it's fun to see. All right, well we're ending this. You know, I remember when we do these shows when I did them alone and like we did our weeklies. We got 15 people still here with us at midnight.
Nice.
That is a wonderful crowd, folks, and thanks y'all. Like I said, tune into some of our other stuff that we do around here. A lot of it's random and stuff. If you don't know much about the channel, a lot of what I have to do is by the seat of my pants these days because of some things in life. I mean, even these streams here may get canceled at the last minute, so we don't know. But hey, folks, what happens is it's a lot of fun around here, and a lot of people and folks, you guys in chat have made us a lot of difference for us, and we get support from you as you get from us. So, and Buddy also is putting that tomorrow. Mrs. has got anime in the afternoon with JoJo and Cells at Work tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 Eastern. All right. Well, on that note, JT, let's wrap it up. And everybody, thank you for being here. We have a good night, and we will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Wow.